here.
And tell me how the argument ended.
She punched me in my jaw.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Mary Bizarre is suing her ex-roommate, Joshua Beaumont, for breaking a lease, a stolen phone, and a false restraining order.
Order. All rise. It's case number 68 on the calendar, the matter of Bizarre versus Beaumont.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Judge parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
Miss Bizarre, who was your boyfriend in 2017?
Anthony Jordan.
How long had you been seeing him?
We just started seeing each other. We met at work. We had been friends
Mr.
for a
Jordan?
while. Yes.
Is he still your boyfriend?
Yes.
So you've been with him for quite some time?
Yes.
He's not married?
No.
And you're not married?
No.
Who was this?
This is Anthony Jordan.
Where does Mr. Jordan work?
At Amazon.
And where do you work?
Amazon.
Do you work in the same location?
Yes. The same building.
So you have a serious relationship?
Yes, we do now.
Okay, good. Now that as far as I see it, you and Mr. Beaumont leased an apartment together. What was the start date of the lease?
June 12th, 2017.
Mr. Beaumont moved out. On what date did you move out?
I moved out November 19th.
After some argument that transpired because Mr. Beaumont had a girlfriend. Girlfriend had children, he had children. You were living there by yourself. You don't have children.
I do not living there.
No, you did not. And there was a major kerfuffle involving the children. Mr. Beaumont left. And you want him to be responsible for the rent from November until June.
June, correct.
Well, you sort of acknowledge, and Mr. Beaumont says that there was a very bad argument that involved the children. You actually got excited. He felt that it was an unsafe environment for the children and for his girlfriend, who was then pregnant, and he was forced to leave. The reason that I ask you about your boyfriend is that when things got out of hand on that night, I don't remember the date.
It was the morning.
Or the morning.
Yes.
And it got out of hand to the extent that you felt as if you were being ganged up on.
Yes.
And you called your boyfriend to come over.
Yeah.
That was in the morning of November 19th.
Yes.
And what I'm curious about is, why didn't you and your boyfriend decide to
lease? That was the reason why we didn't move in. Well, there's a few reasons why we didn't move in the beginning. But he was in another lease, so, and I needed to move in.
Just a second. He was in another lease.
Yes.
Is he still in the other lease? We're talking about a year ago. So he didn't have a 2-year lease. So when was his?
No.
When was your lease up, Mr. Jordan?
It was up in May.
In May. And where are you now?
I'm still at the same
So
place.
you renewed your lease?
No.
Yeah, he was new to his lease.
What?
He was new to his lease at the time that we started a lease.
That's not what I'd asked him.
Oh.
Your lease was up in May.
Yes.
Did you renew your lease?
No, I did not.
Where did you go?
To my sister's.
I don't believe you.
You can call.
Do you know what I mean?
This May.
I'm talking about this May.
Okay.
Do you understand?
I do.
Yes.
I do.
So if the two of you were dating, and you've been dating for over a year, that would suggest to me that you at least spent some evenings together.
Yeah. Yes, we do.
And it would suggest to me that if he didn't renew his lease and he was living independently, as you said to me, and went to live at his sister's, you're not going to sleep over at his sister's. So if you're living alone, and you work in the same building at Amazon, even though you may work different shifts, it would seem only logical to me that when he was at his house, he was staying at yours.
He did stay at my place.
Oh, okay.
He did sometimes stay at my place, even when Josh was there.
I'm not talking
Yes.
about sometimes staying at your place when Mr. Beaumont was there. I'm saying when he didn't renew his lease on his apartment, when you called him on November 19th where he was living, and he didn't renew that lease, my question to you is, do you want me to believe that he moved in with his sister, or do you think that a grown-up person like me would think that he moved in with you?
These are two different times. These are two different times. Right now, my lease now ended, and his lease has ended, so now we can move together. But at the time...
Just a second.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about at the time. I'm talking about in 2018, in May of 2018. where was Mr. Jordan living in May?
In May, he was still at the house. His lease is ended now. We are now relocating, and so we are now going to move together. We are now, the time we met and our...
Ms. Buzzer, I'm not buying what you're saying to me. Okay? I'm not buying what you're saying to me. You caught maximum $5,000 for breaking the lease. You want to tell me, Mr. Beaumont, what happened on November 19th that caused you to leave the house?
November 19th, it was peak season at Amazon, afternoon to 6 in the morning. At that time, me and Mary were working together, so I informed her before that the kids will be there, my girlfriend will be there, everybody's going to be there, so just in case, you know, we don't go home and she sees everybody at the house.
Just a second, how many is everybody?
I have 5 kids now. So at that time, I had my 2 boys, her daughter, her, and me. So we were all going to be there. And they...
You mean all going to live there?
No, they're there on the weekends. So I have my kids on the weekends, so she would come over on the weekends. And
your girlfriend?
Yes, and because she
would come over on the weekend and bring her daughter?
That's not true.
Yes.
Is what you're telling me your girlfriend, who was then pregnant, was not living at your house?
Yes.
Is that correct?
That's true, but she only came to the house about 4 times. In the whole 5 months, she only came to our home about 4 times.
4 times?
4 times total.
Okay, and the last time was on November 19th?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, that's fine. That's reasonable, because it would be unreasonable for the 2 of you to go into a lease together, and all of a sudden he has a whole bunch of ducklings coming along with him, and you're all by yourself, and you have a very taxing job. I got it. Give me the Reader's Digest version.
Okay.
November 19th in the morning.
Okay, so in the morning, I always get my kids. So
on November 19th.
So basically...
Not basically, I don't want to hear basically.
So Mary woke up. She said the kids were being loud. Well, she called out one of the children, which is her daughter, and I call her my daughter, so...
She's not your daughter. She called out your girlfriend's daughter.
Yeah, and she said, well, she was yelling at her, and she said, this child is loud. She doesn't need to be in the kitchen. Get this thing out of here. She doesn't belong here. So that's when
Was that on a weekend or a
This was Sunday, Sunday morning.
Listen, when I talk to you, I talk to you. When I talk to him, I don't. Go ahead.
So this was Sunday morning. All this happened Sunday morning.
And the apartment that you leased with the plaintiff, it had 2 bedrooms in it?
3.
3. And she had a bedroom?
Yes.
She had the master bedroom?
Yes.
And there were 2 smaller bedrooms?
Yes.
So there was room for the children. Now, how did you split up the rent?
We split everything evenly. 800, she paid 800, and then we did the utilities evenly.
You did what, evenly?
Yeah. Well, we split everything down the middle.
Even though you were many more people than she was?
Yeah.
Well, that was nice of her. Okay, but she says that your girlfriend really only came over 4 times in the months that you were there, from June until November.
Yes, she wasn't over, like, a lot.
Okay, so she was...
Not
said, basically?
Yeah, she said that she didn't want her in the kitchen. I explained to Mary that she's just using the microwave. There's nothing wrong with her using the microwave. I told her.
Was she being loud? The question is, no, was the child?
No, she was being as loud as any kid would be, pushing buttons, closing and closing the microwave door. But it wasn't just her. It was my other 2 children as well. So
they were all in the kitchen?
They did one at a time, because I don't allow them all together. So,
why?
Because kids get loud and they start doing extra stuff. So to minimize the loudness, one at a time.
How old are they? Give me the age.
At that time, there was 2 8-year-old and 1 6-year-old.
Okay, that needed supervision. And where were you and your girlfriend?
I was in the room.
What room?
My room.
You were in bed?
Yes, I was.
And where was your girlfriend?
She was next to me.
So the 2 of you were in bed, and the 3 young children, 2 8-year-olds and a 6-year-old, were unsupervised in the kitchen?
No, my oldest, he was in the kitchen first. He made his breakfast in the microwave.
And then where did he go?
He went to the table.
What table?
The table that was right across from the kitchen.
Is it in the kitchen?
It's not in the kitchen. I have a picture of how it was set up. So
is it a breakfast room off the kitchen?
What is it? It's a dining area.
Can you see the kitchen from the dining? Same room. It's just a kitchen and then a little dining area that's next to it.
It's an actual room. So
I'll take a look.
Yeah, I have.
Just show me.
This is how the kitchen was set up. The first picture is the living room / dining area, and that's the kitchen.
So this is where the dining room table is?
Yes.
Okay, and this is the kitchen?
The kitchen is where my name is at? Yes, that's the kitchen.
Here?
Yes.
Okay, so the 3 children were in this area,
Yes.
unsupervised. One would go in because it's a very small kitchen, use it, and then come out and be here, and you and your girlfriend were in bed
Yes.
in the morning. That's, okay, that's what I got.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
So now you get into a discussion with her because the little girl, she said, was making too much noise, and she came out and she said, get this thing out of here. Thing, is that what you said?
That's what she said.
And that started an argument.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Mary Bizard says ex-roommate Joshua Beaumont broke their lease, stole her phone, and filed a false restraining order against her.
So now you get into a discussion with her. He was 8. She said was making too much noise, and she came out and she said, get this thing out of here. Yes. Whatever it is you say that she said, get this thing. Is that what you said?
That's what she said.
Wow. Get this out of here. And that started an argument.
Yes, it did.
Started an argument. And tell me how the argument ended.
So within the argument, I told her, Mary, I am on the lease too. I told her that she can make her breakfast in the microwave. It's not the stove. She knows how to operate the microwave, and it should be done. She then said, it doesn't matter. I want her out of my kitchen. And I told her, it's not your kitchen. And then that's when my girlfriend came because she heard all the loudness and commotion.
Don't tell me what she heard. Your girlfriend got out of bed.
Yes. She came to get her daughter, and I said, no, it's okay. I told her she can make her waffles, and then she can eat. Because at that time, she was really crying, and she didn't know what to do because all the loud and yelling. So when I told Mary, like, I don't have to listen to you. This is my house. I'm a grown man as well. That's when she proceeded, and she punched me in my jaw. And then I kind of stood there like, okay. And when my girlfriend seen it, she got upset, and then Mary proceeded to leap over me and hit her as well. So here, and that's when I pushed her away. And then I told her, Mary, if this is how you're gonna act, I can no longer be here. You've hit me, you've hit my girlfriend, which was with child.
Do you have any verification of that?
Well, I made a police report.
I'd like to see it.
Which is right here.
Just a minute, I'd like to see it.
And then after that incident, okay.
You made a police report in November.
Yes.
On report date November 21st. Well,
wow.
Why didn't you call back the police officer who left you a message?
Oh, we were trying to...
That's a reason. I said, why didn't you call back the police officer?
I did several times. My schedule is through the middle of the night to the day, and his schedule was, we were off schedule. We were going back and forth with phone calls. I did speak to him, and then, I don't know, he said that...
Don't tell me what he said.
No, I did speak to him, and I had to go through with appearing in court, and I was going to do that. We went back and forth trying to reach each other.
Just a second, well, then let's go further. So you did finally contact the police officer because Mr. Beaumont went into the police and said he desired prosecution because you had struck him.
I wasn't aware of the police report at all.
Just a second.
I got the call, and then I got the
went to court when?
I don't remember the date. I have the subpoena, so it was 12/13.
In December?
Yes, December 13th, 2017.
And you want to tell me what happened with that case?
Yes. So we went to court, and...
what was the court for?
It was for a restraining order.
So he filed an application for a restraining order. I'd like to see it.
Here's the restraining.
Are you still working for Amazon?
Yes.
You still working for Amazon? Different shifts?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you know what happened when you went to court with this application for a restraining order?
Yes. It was denied. The judge...
Don't tell me what the judge said.
It was denied.
Did you have a hearing?
Yes.
Okay, and you testified?
Yes.
And did you testify?
Yes.
And at the end of the hearing, what happened?
It was denied, and he told me that I needed to file for breaking the lease. He told me, you know you need to take him to court, and I said yes.
Okay, I don't believe that.
That is what he said.
I don't believe it. Unless you have the minutes of that hearing, that's hearsay. And I cannot imagine somebody who's asking for a protective order And even if the application was denied, a judge civil case against him for a lease.
He told the judge that he needed to have a restraining order in order to get out of his lease, is what he said. And the judge said, I will not help you get out of your lease. And he turned to me and said, you need to take him to court.
Okay. Well,
and
you
that's
took him
what
to
I
court.
said, okay.
You took him to court.
Yeah.
You took him to court.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You do understand you're trying to talk over me.
No.
He's not paying you from December to June. That's not happening. That's not happening. Do you understand?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Mary Bizard has accused ex-roommate Joshua Beaumont of breaking their lease, stealing her phone, and filing a false restraining order against her.
It was an unsafe environment. He had to leave.
It was not an unsafe environment.
Okay. You want to tell me what happened on the 19th? You tell me what happened on the 19th of November. I'm telling you it's an unsafe environment.
On the 19th, because we get off at 5 in the morning. I get off at 5 in the morning. I got something to eat for breakfast. He got something for the kids, microwavable stuff. We both went home. I went in to cook and eat, and I went into the room, and then he settled in. He got up to cook. The kids woke up. It got noisy, so I went into the room and I said, hey, we just got off from work. Can you guys keep it down? You know, we're really tired. And then I heard the noise in the kitchen. The microwave kept slamming, drawers opening and closing and stuff. I waited. I waited through it because I thought maybe
Did you pay November's rent?
Yes, I did.
Right.
I waited through it because I thought that.
Did you pay November's rent?
Yes.
Did you pay December's rent?
I did not.
Okay. If you moved out, Mr. Beaumont, I'm not buying this story.
That's not
And
fair because I'm here for him and you're asking him
just a second.
the whole story.
Because I asked you a question and what I got were a lot of vagaries.
The only thing I can answer you on the judge is what he said, because that's what he said. And you see it says denied on that paper. You're not looking at that.
What I'm looking at was why he said he filed for a protective order at the time in November of 2017.
He told the judge because he wanted to get out of he wanted to be able to hold the lease, hold the reason why he left. He said that he was instructed by the police department to file a restraining order.
You do understand you're trying to talk over me.
No.
He's not paying you from December to June. That's not happening. That's not happening. Do you understand?
That's not right. And I helped him with this, and he decides to just walk out again.
Then you took the wrong chance.
Yeah, I did make the wrong choice. I absolutely did.
And Anthony really should have been there.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Are you the victim of an assault? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Okay. Anthony, as long as you were living there...
He didn't sign an agreement with me. Josh did.
Your case is dismissed because you're not paying attention. Your case is dismissed. I was actually going to give you his share of December's rent because he left in late November and you could not have gotten another roommate in the month of December.
Well, this is wrong because it was all the way through June.
You're not getting money. You're not waiting till the end of your lease and then suing him. Do you understand?
I had a roommate in January.
Goodbye, we're done.
Wow.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Josh signed an agreement with me and he walked out on it.
You're putting your hands on me. You're putting your hands on my girlfriend who's pregnant.
Look at how big he is. I'm not gonna, it wasn't a fight.
There's no reason for me to stay in a hostile environment anymore.
He actually grabbed me and I didn't do that.
If I would have knew how she was then, I would never even consider moving with her.
What happened when the dog came up to you?
I told him to get away from me.
A neighbor's bulldog on the loose.
He came running across the grass and started yelling that I kicked his dog.
Your dog was off leash.
Yes, Your Honor.
Then he went off the chain.
It was dark, and I shined my flashlight. He was standing right here. He said, "You kicked my dog." I said, "Get away from me." That's when I made contact with him.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Tanner Davis is suing his former neighbor, Marion McDavid, for medical bills due to an assault.
Order. All rise. This case number 137 on the calendar in the matter of Davis versus McDavid.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat, please.
Mr. Davis, this incident happened between you and the defendant in December of last year.
Yes, Your Honor.
On the 18th. What time?
Around 7:15, the same apartment complex.
And you've seen the defendant before?
Not before the incident.
Have you seen the plaintiff before?
No.
Have either of you seen each other's dogs before?
No, Your Honor.
No.
So that you were strangers to each other and your dogs were strangers to each other. How long have you lived in that complex?
About 6, 7 months.
And you have a bulldog?
Yes.
How old is the bulldog?
Right now, he's 2.5.
So he was full grown on the time of the incident.
Yes, Your Honor.
And a bulldog weighs about 60 pounds.
He's about 30. He's a little French bulldog. I brought pictures today, too.
I'd like to see it.
Okay.
What are they called?
A French bulldog?
Oh, a French bulldog. Okay, so he's a smaller one.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you were coming home and your dog was off leash.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you were out with your dogs?
Yes, Your Honor.
Were they on leash or off leash?
On leash.
What kind of dogs do you have?
I have 2 Labrador retrievers. I have a picture.
I'd like to see them. Pretty dogs. How old are they?
One will be 9 Thursday. The other one will be 4 in October.
So it's about 7:15 in the evening. Your dogs are on leash. Your dog is off leash. And you dogs.
Yes, Your Honor. I was coming home from the store, and I was carrying him in my hands. I know, but
he was off leash and he approached her dogs.
Yes, Your Honor.
I know the story that you told me here. Your dog was off leash and approached the defendant and her dogs.
Yes.
And it is your claim that as a result of that interaction, you were injured by a flashlight that Miss McDavid swung at you, and you were injured. You want your medical bills paid.
Yep.
And Miss McDavid says she is counterclaiming she wants money since she had to defend herself. She had to hire an attorney. She felt uncomfortable living in the community anymore. She moved. She wants her moving expenses. You're not going to get any of that. I mean, I will consider the attorney's fees after I hear his case. So, Mr. Davis, let's start out at the moment that your dog approached Miss McDavid and her 2 dogs, because your dog ran up to her dogs.
Correct.
I'd like you to tell me, how far away were you from Miss McDavid when your dog ran up to Miss McDavid and her dogs?
I was at my front door. She was on the sidewalk, probably about roughly 30 feet.
Okay.
And we
Just
have
a second. So you were at your front door.
Yes.
Were you opening it with a key?
Yes.
And to get to the key, you had to go where? Into your pocket?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you had to put the dog down, and what you wrote in your complaint. You
Correct.
Understand that?
Yes.
Just a second. You do understand that?
I do.
Didn't jump out of your arms. You put the dog down. The dog was off leash. So the dog ran from your front door to where she was, which was about 30 feet away, which is about where I am, to the far corner of the courtroom.
Yes, Your Honor.
So in that moment, your dog was out of control. Now, I'm going to come to you, Miss McDavid. The dog is running towards you. It's a smaller dog, clearly smaller than your labs. And what happened when the dog came up to you?
When the dog ran up across the grass, I told him to get away from me.
And what happened next?
He came running across the grass, picked up his dog, and came running over in front of me and started yelling that I kicked his dog.
Okay.
I did not kick his dog.
What did he say to you?
He just kept yelling at me that you kicked my dog. I said, I did not kick your dog.
If it was dark and you were putting your key in, how could you tell that you kicked your dog?
The area is well lit. Like I
Okay.
said, I have pictures.
So the answer is the area is well lit. Did you take the dog to the vet that day as a result of being kicked?
No, Your Honor.
I assume you checked him for any injuries, and was he injured?
No, Your Honor.
Now, as the dog ran across to where she was with her dogs, was the dog barking?
No.
Was the dog barking? Came up to your dogs and was sniffing around?
I never let it get that close. My dogs, one is a baby and the other one is, and they're big and they pull, so I keep my dogs back.
Okay. Now, what happened, Mr. Davis, after you ran up to her? At this point, either she stomped her foot for your dog to get away or kicked your dog in such a way that he was not injured. How close did you get to Miss McDavid? Were you 10 feet away, 20 feet away? How far away were you?
Roughly 10 feet.
And did your dog run back to you?
No.
Did your dog stay near Miss McDavid?
Yes, Your Honor.
So even though she had kicked your dog and you were running, your uninjured dog did not run back to you, but stayed near Miss McDavid and her two dogs.
Yes, Your Honor.
Right away, you know that that doesn't make sense to me. A little dog would get away from somebody who kicked them and would run to their master who was running up towards them. It just sort of makes sense. Maybe it happened. I don't know yet. So you run up to her, bend down, and pick up your dog. Is that what you did?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that what he did?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then what?
After I picked him up, Your Honor, I asked her why she would kick my dog.
I don't want you to say. I asked her why. You picked up the dog, and you said to her...
Why in the would you kick my dog?
Did you answer him?
I told him I did not kick his dog.
Okay, let's get real. You said to her, why the blank did you kick my dog?
Yes, Your Honor.
She would have answered you. She didn't stand there mute. Do you understand? I have your complaint. I have what you wrote. Your complaint is different from the story that you're telling me today, Mr. Davis. How it got started, how the dog was in your arms, how it jumped out of your arms instead of you putting it down to open up your front door. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss McDavid would have answered you. Do you want to tell me what she said?
Your Honor, she didn't answer me.
So what did you say to her?
Next thing that was said was, I'm calling the police.
How far away were you from Miss McDavid when you said, I'm calling the police?
Roughly 3 feet.
And you were calling the police, why?
Because she just hit me in the face with
Just a second. You didn't tell me that she hit you, sir. You mean you asked her, why did you kick my dog? She didn't answer you and then hit you. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
That doesn't make sense, Mr. Davis.
Yes, Your Honor.
That doesn't make sense. Who are you?
I'm his mother.
That doesn't make sense to you either, right?
Not sitting here listening to him now.
Not sitting here listening to him now. That doesn't make sense for picking up your dog. Why the blank did you hit my dog? Wants to leave, and she assaults him, and he says, I'm going to call the police. Something happened after you said, why the blank did you kick my dog? And when you were hit by the defendant, because there's no question that she swung something and connected with you so that you lost a tooth, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So since you can't give me an answer, sir, that I'm satisfied with, I'm going to ask her what happened. He walked up to you close enough to get his dog, so he was closer to you than he is now, and said, why the blank did you kick my dog? And you said, I didn't kick your dog.
Yes.
And then what's the next thing that happened?
He told me, yes, I did. Our altercation went back and forth. I didn't. I picked up my flashlight.
Just a second. He said...
You kicked my dog.
And you said, no, I didn't.
Yes.
And what's the next thing that happened?
It was dark, and I shined my flashlight. He was standing right here. And I shined my flashlight to see who he was. And I said, get away from me. He said, you kicked my dog. I said, get away from me. That's when I made contact with him.
Okay. Why didn't you leave? That sounds more reasonable, by the way. Whether she hit you or made a contact with you by going like this, there's no question she connected with you and you were injured. But you didn't just ask her once, why did you kick my dog? She didn't answer you. You took your dog and went home. Your dog wasn't injured. Does that refresh your recollection, Mr. Davis?
Yes, Your Honor. I had an earbud in, and that's when I called the police.
Why didn't you just leave? You had your dog in your hand, your uninjured dog that was off leash, ran up to somebody, not doing any harm. But somebody with an unleashed dog doesn't know that. Could just as easily have come up and bitten her. That was your bad, your fault. But it's back and forth. So you checked your dog out, I assume, when you picked your dog up because you saw that it was okay, right? Because you walked up to her. And as you walked up to her, you said to her, you kicked my dog. But you saw your dog was still there. Wasn't on its side, wasn't howling, didn't screech out, nothing. So you picked up your dog. You asked her a question. She gave you an answer. You answered her back. You said, yes, you did. She said, no, I didn't. Why didn't you just walk away?
I should have, Your Honor.
Yeah, you should
I should have.
So now she tells me what she did with the flashlight that she had. How did she get close enough to... She didn't come after you, Mr. Davis.
No.
So you were in her face, clearly.
Yes, Your Honor.
And where were you coming from that evening, Mr. Davis?
Smith's grocery store.
When did you go there?
Probably around 6:30 p.m.
Who do you live with?
My father.
Had you been to work that day?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you come home first or go directly to the grocery store?
I came home first from work.
Now, they don't allow dogs in grocery stores where there's food and produce.
They don't, Your Honor.
They don't. And according to you, you'd been to work all day.
Yes, Your Honor.
Where was your dog?
At home in the apartment.
Who was home with him?
Nobody.
So the first thing that you did was take him out for a walk when you came home, I'm sure.
For a walk to the car.
Well, if the dog is home all day, that would make you a fool. If the dog was home all day, unless the dog is pad trained, you should have taken the dog for a walk. See where I'm going, Mr. Davis?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm not believing your whole story.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
So she got a dog and had consulted with you.
Yes, Your Honor.
And now you say the puppy made all over the house.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's what puppies
But
do. They make all over the house.
people-
Big puppies, big little puppies, get little.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Tanner Davis says former neighbor Marion McDavid kicked his dog and then hit him in the mouth. Marion is countersuing for attorney fees, moving costs, and for filing false charges.
Now, I have dogs. When I go to the grocery store and I know dogs are not permitted in the grocery store, I don't take my dog to the grocery store. Why would you take the dog to the grocery store if that's where you were going, Mr. Davis, or coming home from, and into the grocery store? Do you understand where I'm going?
Could I say something?
Were you there?
The dog was at my house that day. That's why the dog...
Just a second.
Okay.
That's not what he said.
I know.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
That's not what he said. That means he's lying to me.
I don't think he's remembering exactly.
Well, if you're not remembering, then you say I don't remember. If you're not remembering, you don't lie and say the dog was home all day alone. And I went and picked up my dog and went to the grocery store where dogs are not allowed. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Your case is dismissed, Mr. Davis. We're done. You may have overreacted. So is your counterclaim. Got it?
Thank you.
We're done.
While these are excused, you may step out.
He came up in my face and was standing as close as he could to me and screaming at me that I kicked his dog.
All I wanted was justice and the money back for my teeth.
I have 2 dogs. I don't kick dogs.
Half my front tooth was chipped out from the flashlight that she hit me with.
If he says I knocked a tooth out, it's not much of a flashlight.
Just go home and
Stay away from people like that, I guess.
never see this lady again.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Rogers versus Della Bella. Step forward.
22-year-old Katie Rogers is suing her former roommate, Pamela Della Bella, for rent and damages caused by Pamela's dog.
I don't quite understand what you all want. You moved into an apartment together. You signed a... What do you want?
I want reimbursement
For what?
for the rent.
Reimbursement for what rent? From when to when?
April to May, when I had to move out of the apartment.
Just a second. April and May. And you moved out of the apartment.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you paid rent for those.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your half.
Yes, Your Honor.
To the end of the lease?
Yes.
Now you're going to tell me first why you paid your half of the rent, then you're going to tell me why you think you should get it back having paid it.
I paid my half of the rent because my name was still on the lease.
Right.
And I owed the landlords that money.
Correct.
So I paid it.
Correct.
I believe that I deserve that money back because the living environment was uninhabitable. I couldn't live there.
Okay, and the living environment was uninhabitable because?
Because there was dog and pee everywhere, every day.
Because while you were living together, you say the defendant got a dog without consulting you.
She got a dog without consulting the
just say it
landlords.
not the landlord. I'm talking about got a dog without consulting her roommate. Is that what you want me to believe?
No, that is not my assertion.
Okay, good. So she got a dog and had consulted with you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And now you say the puppy, because it was a puppy.
Yes, Your Honor.
And it made all over the house.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's what puppies do.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's what puppies
But
do. They make all
most
over the house.
people-
Big puppies, big little puppies, get little. You went with her.
Yes, Your
That
Honor.
wasn't a surprise visit to go to the puppy?
No, Your Honor.
It was planned.
Yes, Your Honor.
All
Sorry.
right, you know where I'm going, Miss Rogers. So far, you're not doing well.
Your Honor.
Do you understand?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Katie Rogers says former roommate Pamela Della Bella owes for rent and damaged belongings. Pamela is countersuing for actual and punitive damages for breaking a lease.
So you owed the landlord money, you paid the landlord your money, your roommate asked you if she could get a dog, you said yes, and then there was puppy pee, puppy all over the apartment, so you had to leave.
Yes.
Well, you could have cleaned it up.
Your Honor, I did. I
But then
had
it
never
wouldn't have been
seen
there.
Can I show you the video of this apartment?
You can show me the video, but I don't understand. She asked you if she could get a dog.
Yes,
You said
sir.
fine with me. She said it was different. You both looked at pictures, and is that what I am led to believe by your answer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
From whom was the dog purchased?
A woman named Irma in Indiana.
Did you both live in Indiana?
No, we did not.
So the puppy had to be flown to where you live?
No, Your Honor, we drove to pick her up together with a friend.
When you say we drove, did the two of you drive to pick her up? If the plaintiff went with you to Indiana to pick up the puppy?
Yes, she did.
The answer is yes. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So far, you're not doing well.
Your Honor.
Do you understand?
Yes, I was willing to have a dog in the apartment. I love dogs. I have 4 dogs at home that I grew up with. But, Your Honor, most people do not leave their dogs alone for 16 hours at a time. This dog was abused. It was sad. It was not living a proper life for a husky puppy, and I told her that, Your Honor.
Your Honor, that's not true.
Shh, shh, shh. When Pamela, that would be you.
Yes, ma'am.
Moved in, she brought a puppy and a cat into the apartment. That's what you wrote.
Yes, Your Honor. She had a cat as well.
Did she get the puppy before or after you moved in together?
Before.
So before you became roommates?
We lived at a different apartment together.
Better. So you lived at a different apartment together. You went with her to get the puppy and then moved into another apartment and signed a lease with her.
We had already signed the lease before she had gotten the puppy.
So you knew she had the puppy?
No, Your Honor. I did not know. We signed the lease on February 4th, and she got the puppy at the end of February.
You went with her?
Yes, Your Honor.
That wasn't a surprise visit to go to the puppy?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you know where I'm going, Miss Rogers.
Yes.
Your claim is ridiculous. What is your counterclaim?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, what is your counterclaim?
My counterclaim is I want to be reimbursed for work that I missed due to Katie abandoning the dog the day after we brought her home.
That's not happening.
Okay.
Grow up. What's next?
Also for moving expenses, because I made arrangements for the dog to live with my aunt and uncle, and I also had a letter from my doctor stating I was allowed to have the dog. Katie still left the apartment, and she said that I would leave the dog alone for up to 16 hours. I have text messages
Who cares?
showing...
Where's the dog now?
The dog is still with me at home.
Great. At whose home?
My friend Amanda is taking care of her right now.
Just a second. Do you live with your friend Amanda?
No, I live on my own now.
With the dog?
Yes.
Is the dog now housebroken?
She's completely housebroken.
Terrific.
Thank you.
Wasn't then, didn't work out. You're out of that apartment now?
Yes.
Good for you both. You're in someplace else now?
Yes,
You
ma'am.
don't get your rent back. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
We both care planned for her.
Because I lived in an uninhabitable apartment.
I came home on my breaks to take care of her. I never left her alone for 16 hours.
And she did not keep the place clean. She didn't take care of her dog.
I have messages showing that I didn't need to come home on my break that day because she would be taking care of her.
And I didn't agree with that.
I provide a loving home for that dog. You can ask anyone. The dog is happy and housebroken completely.
I find that it's probably better to live on your own.
You should stick to living on your own like I did before.
You allege that they made slanderous remarks.
Neighbors are blamed for starting trouble.
The defendant said we threw hypodermic needles and trash in her yard.
Now they're stopped from doing good.
You had been foster parents for how long?
Over 25 years.
Did either of you file a complaint to social services?
I did not know.
No, Your Honor.
There's so much more to the story. They've just been harassing and calling the police.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Gregory and Valerie Burks are suing their neighbors, Lisa Bobo and her sister Patricia, for half the cost of a fence and...
Order. All rise. It's case number 85 on the calendar in the matter of Burks versus Bobo.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Sir, have a seat.
Mr. and Mrs. Burks, your complaint has two parts to it. You and the defendants are neighbors, and you've been neighbors for quite some time.
Yes.
And you want them to pay for 1/2 of the cost of a fence.
Yes.
That separates your property.
Yes.
And the defendants say your fence, your property, you pay for it.
Correct, Your Honor.
The other part of your claim is for slander, and that part of your claim suggests that the defendants, through vicious rumor and innuendo, caused you to lose your license as foster parents.
Yes, perhaps.
Did that happen?
Yes, it's still under investigation.
So you didn't lose your license?
I no longer have my license now.
Temporarily or permanently?
Well, until the investigation is finished, they have to...
They suspended your license. Okay. All right, let's deal with the property. How long have you lived in your home?
26 years.
And you've lived there since 2010?
2010, yes, Your Honor.
When you bought the house 28 years ago, the house had this fence on it. Is that correct?
The chain link fence was there from when we moved in, and a row of trees. We had that taken down when the house was empty before they moved in, and we had the fence put up ourselves, the one that's there now.
In what year did you put up the fence that's there now?
Maybe 15 years ago.
What kind of fence was that?
It's a wooden fence now.
And is that the fence that you want to replace?
Yes, ma'am.
Now the wood fence needs replacing.
Yes, ma'am.
And now you want them to pay for half of it.
At first, we were going to put up the fence on our own. We need access to their property to have the fence put up. But we had such a big stink about it, they made a big stink about it, that we had a fence paid for that we wanted to put up, but they wouldn't give us access to the yard, so it's just sitting there.
What do you mean, the fence is just sitting there?
No, the fence is not sitting there. The people who are supposed to put it up had purchased the materials, but they couldn't put it up because they wouldn't allow access to their yard.
Okay. I assume that the property has been surveyed, is that right?
Yes, by the city.
And on whose property is the fence?
It's down the middle.
Well, that can't be, because you had a row of trees.
Well, the row of
chain
trees is
link
actually on
fence
our side.
Was on your side?
Yes, ma'am.
And the chain link fence?
Was down the middle. So we had the wooden fence put up in the same area as the chain link fence.
Is the wooden fence that's there now separating your two properties?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
So it's right on the property line?
I don't know if it's on the property line. I mean, when they had their fence, my front yard fence, and he cut over about 4 or 5 inches over. I was unaware of this. I was in bed. I worked graveyard. My sister happened to come home from lunch. She told him to stop. Wait a minute, what are you doing? Initially, he told her he marked the property line.
Do you have a photograph of what you're talking about?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
I'd like to see it.
It's an up close and then one at a distance. Now, I'm not a professional, but based upon that marking, I took a string and I took it all the way up. And it appears to me...
No, just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to see where they cut into your fence.
It's a small little cut there.
That's a nick.
They began cutting. My sister stopped them on the way. She came home from lunch and stopped them.
And this is your property
That's
here?
my property, that whole black side.
So the wood fence, based upon these pictures, I want you to look at it. You see this nick? That is where the defendant says that your fence people were cutting into in order to build the fence. They say that your fence people made this nick. Is that what you're telling me?
That is correct, and we also have video of the conversation with
the fence people?
Yes, sir, ma'am.
I don't understand what they were cutting into the fence for.
They were installing cement pillars on their new fence, their upgraded fence, and evidently they wanted to cut a portion of my fence off so that they can install another cement-style pillar to install that pillar.
Is the orange house your house?
Yes.
Take a look at where the cut is, where the defendant says that your fence people made that cut, which is on her property.
Yeah, I have pictures of the mark.
Okay. Now, who made that mark?
The brick workers made the walk.
Your brick workers?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what was the purpose of their cutting in?
It was a misunderstanding. They spoke Spanish. It was a misunderstanding, so I got in touch with the owner. I said, hey, the guys cut into the fence. He immediately said, we'll take care of it. And the sister Patricia, she had the video. She says, you guys got to pay for this fence. I said, the owner wife will be here to talk to you. She's on her way. She came. The wife told me she took care of the matter of the fence. They want to get it fixed, but they want a whole new gate, iron gate altogether. But he told him he could fix that mark right there. I don't know what they're talking about, the marking. The marking is on the curve, not on the fence.
Well, it's clearly in the fence.
No, we're not talking about that little mark. That's a whole new different situation.
I just don't know why they would cut into her fence. Because if he's cutting into her fence on her property, and that's her property line, then the wood fence that you want replaced looks as if it's on your property.
No, that's not the property line.
No, I'm talking about, this is the wood fence that you're talking about.
Right.
This is the wood fence. They made the mark here. This wood fence is clearly on your property.
Well, these guys, they didn't speak English. This is why I was also...
All right. Look, I'm going to make it very, very simple. If you want to replace that fence, replace it. You have any interest in replacing that fence?
No, ma'am, I don't. I mean, it's a termite fence. It does need replacing, but I was trying to save up the funds, as I told them, for the fence replacement, and they were just pushing, and I need time. Initially, I was asking them to supply a land surveyor's assessment so that we can see whose property line it was on, because years prior in 2013, when her handymen were painting that fence white, they oversprayed my brand new 2013 car, dealership tag still on it, oversprayed with white paint. Valerie and I did converse. You know, she did.
And she paid for it.
She paid for it. That was all settled. I did go for the lease estimate. The guy was just as qualified. But anyway, and that at that time is when she told me, well, that's my fence. And I told her, that's fine. I don't care. I just want my car fixed. And if I may say, in going back about the owners talking with us about the fence being repaired, no one's talked to me to this date about the cut that was made in the fence. I've never said that I wanted my entire fence replaced. My front yard fence does not need replacing.
Let me ask you this question.
Yes, ma'am.
They already have the materials to fix the fence. They say that they can't put it up because you refused them access to your property.
Absolutely.
And you have the fence already.
We have paid for it, yes, ma'am.
You've paid for the fence already.
Yes, ma'am.
So you just have the wood there.
Right.
Okay. They'll allow you to put the fence up on their property, and they've agreed to it, so we'll put that in an order.
Yes.
Let's get to the second part of this case. If you want the fence, put it up. I'm speaking. Second part of your case is that you allege that they made certain slanderous remarks about you, and that you had been foster parents for how long?
For over 25 years.
Until when?
Until 2018.
What month in 2018?
January.
Did either of you file a complaint regarding the plaintiffs to social services?
I did not, no.
No, Your Honor.
What are you alleging?
Department of Social Service can't tell us where the call came from.
They said that they did not.
But they have been harassing us. There's so much more to the story. They've just been harassing and calling the police, and I'm having the police come out, and I have several reports. I even had to go see a doctor behind this because I thought I was going crazy because they just kept harassing and harassing, and they said we were throwing...
Harassment is a conclusion. It appears that at least as recently as 2013, you were able to talk to each other. Your people who were spraying the fence damaged her car. You were able to fix it. You paid for it. So evidently, something happened after 2013. What do you allege that either specifically of the defendants did to you to slander you?
The defendant said we threw needles in our yard, hypodermic needles and medicine bottles and trash in her yard.
Okay, do you have photographs of that?
Yes.
I'd like to take a look at it.
Yes.
Well, I see that there is pills, it looks like a syringe, and there is a bottle of medicine, and the name on it is neither of theirs, on the bottle of medicine. Do you have any proof that they threw this trash in your backyard?
I had original pictures that I had taken of the items that I had been finding. I had been finding them all along. I started taking pictures on July 1st of 2017 when I seen the prescription bottle with the name along with other items, and I gathered together and I took a picture. Normally, I would just throw the things. I do gardening on the side of the house every other week. I would see...
what is it that you allege about?
This is what my neighbor here, her constantly harassing us and saying that we're throwing needles. We have foster kids. Also, it ruined my friendship with some of my neighbors. I mean, my reputation, our reputation in the neighborhood. And it just to the police and said that we threw them in our yard. She's telling the neighborhood.
Just a second. She doesn't have any proof that you threw the stuff in her yard. So if you have a statement by the police that she accused you of throwing these needles...
I have a statement. This police incident report.
Does it say that she said that you... I'd like to see it.
I mean, it doesn't say, but this is the report number.
Then I don't want to see it. Then I don't want to see it. Okay. How old are the foster children that you had?
10 and 11.
Who was this person? Do you know a person by the name?
Yes, that's my niece.
Your niece? Well, her name is on this prescription bottle.
Yes, that her sister dug out the trash. This is my neighbor seen her digging in the trash, yes.
Before I ask you to come up here, did you see either of the two defendants take a bottle of pills out of trash? The answer is yes or no.
No.
Good. Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
Where they go to school Monday through Friday, whoever takes care of them has custody of the children. Did you have physical custody of your children?
Yes, I have joint legal custody of my children.
That's not
with
what
my
I asked you.
ex-husband.
Do you understand why I'm not believing you?
Gregory and Valerie Burke say neighbors Lisa Bobo and her sister Patricia owe for half the cost of a fence, as well as for slander and harassment.
So, when do you want to put up the fence? Give
Soon as
me a
possible.
2-week period.
Okay, 2-week period will be fine.
2 weeks from today. Within 2 weeks.
Yes.
You have to give them 72 hours notice of the time in writing that you're going to have somebody come on their property in order to finish the installation of the fence. Okay?
And
So
it'll
that
take
they have
about
notice.
maybe 2 or 3 days, depending.
3 days.
Okay.
Okay? All right, fine. We're done. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It's caused because they're odd, they're strange, they're weird, they're crazy. That's why I started. They're crazy, they're sick.
I really think that the comments that Mrs. Valerie Burks made, I think it pretty much speaks for her personality and the attitude.
How they act, how they're treating us, our kids.
You know, she feels the way she feels. Whatever her comments are basically her comments.
Jealousy over my home, over me, over my husband.
Like I said, I think the comments that she made pretty much sums up the person that she is.
For them to move, go back to where they came from, because they're odd, they're strange, they don't belong in Compton.
I think it is very strange.
and now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Tucker versus Lamoureux.
Her ex-boyfriend, Michael Lamoureux, for loans she made to him when he was going through a hard time.
Ms. Tucker, when were you and Mr. Lamoureux in a relationship?
Our relationship began in June of 2016.
And ended?
September 2017.
What money do you think he owes you?
He owes me money for, there was a time in his life where he was very, very broke. He wasn't working. He was waiting for retirement money from the state of Connecticut. He was waiting for approximately $29,000 to come in.
What was that time?
On June 16th, 2016.
June 16th, that's when you first started
Correct.
to have a relationship. Now, were you living together?
No.
Did you ever live together?
No.
Did you ever live in his house?
I stayed overnight at his house.
How often?
Several times a week.
How many is several?
I would go home maybe 2 nights a week.
So you stayed at his house the majority of the week?
Majority.
Right. From when to when did you stay at his house the majority of the week?
It was starting in September.
September of 2016. When did you stop staying at his house 5 nights a week?
Well, he left abruptly. He left to go to Hawaii for 3 months. He left me in charge of his house, his children, his pets.
So, you know, Miss Tucker, I'm not believing you. I just have to believing you. When you have a failed relationship and you've been living in his house, that's clear. I read the papers. He left for several months. He went to take care of his grandchildren in Hawaii. You were at his house. Now, you have children,
I do.
correct? And you do not have custody of your children.
I do have custody of my children.
Did you then?
Yes.
Did you have physical custody of your children at the time you were staying at his house 5 nights a week?
I was a nursing student, so
Did you, Miss Tucker,
Yes,
aren't
I
you
did.
fine? You
Yes,
didn't.
I did.
You did not. You did not have physical custody when you were staying at his house 5 nights a week. How do I know that? Because I'm going to ask him, and because you said it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
One of her children left a box of chocolates out, and your deceased wife's chihuahua ate the chocolate and died.
Correct.
That's what you want me to listen to?
Yes.
You know, I went to postgraduate school for 7 years.
Millions of people across the country are losing weight and improving their health. What do we all have in common? Nutrisystem.
Lose up to 13 pounds and 7 inches overall in your first month. It's your favorite foods made healthier.
No counting, no measuring, no weigh-ins.
Order your 28-day plan and save 40% off every program.
Join the millions who have lost weight and improved their health.
For a limited time, save 40% off every program, plus get probiotic shakes free.
Round table pizza?
King
cream. And garlic parmesan twists.
Round Table gets a lot of respect because we show our pizza a lot of respect. Made with only premium ingredients, topped right to the edge. Text PIZZA to 86677 for exclusive offers like free pizza and wings. Message and data rates may apply.
We're Daybreak, and we're here for you.
Welcome to Daybreak. I'm Kelly Som.
We'll help you stay safe and informed with accurate news and information.
A former FBI agent is joining the...
And we'll catch you up with the most recent developments.
Reward has been doubled to $10,000.
We're here to help you and your family start your day by getting you the facts you need to know.
Look at that storm track.
Our minute-by-minute forecasts will alert you to any weather dangers that may affect your day.
We do it for you.
Daybreak on KAEF ABC 23. Get the facts right.
Everyone deserves compassion and integrity as they age, and at Especially You Assisted Living, that's exactly what you'll receive. Especially You features a spacious and bright sun and sitting room and garden that makes relaxation and visits with friends and family one of the highlights of your day. Residents at Especially You can enjoy spacious and bright bedrooms in a safe neighborhood, knowing that a geriatric nurse practitioner visits residents regularly and that an LVN is on retainer. The friendly and attentive staff at Especially You will always make sure you or a loved one is safe and cared for.
Maddie! What's up, people? One day, it was take your kid to work day. My dad's a research analyst. You fill in the blanks. I had to build a diorama of the Jurassic period. I got cast as a fence in the school play. How are your allowance negotiations going? My parents are lowballing me. Thanks, Carla. Well, gotta run. I got scouted straight into Taekwondo. So slammed today. Later.
Milk, because being a kid is tough.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jennifer Tucker is suing her ex-boyfriend, Michael Lamoureux, for loans she made to him when he was going through a hard time.
There was a period of time that what you were doing, his house was a midway point between where your children were and where you were. You would visit with them, and they came, according to what I read in the complaint and answer, you did bring your children to his house on occasion, but the children's physical custody, they did not go to school from where you were living.
That is correct.
All right. Well, that's custody. Where they go to school Monday through Friday, whoever takes care of them Monday through custody. So between June of 2016 and September of 2017, did you have physical custody of your children?
Yes, I have joint legal custody of my children.
That's not
with
what
my
I asked you.
ex-husband.
Do you understand why I'm not believing you? Do you understand what I'm not believing?
But they go to school in the town of Watertown, Connecticut, where my ex-husband lives.
They live with their father in Connecticut and go to school from their father's house in Connecticut. Does that exist today as well?
Yes.
Yes. So that you have joint legal custody, maybe, I don't know that, but your father has primary physical custody and you have visitation with them, I assume, on weekends.
And oftentimes during the week as well.
Maybe, if you get there. Okay, fine. As long as we understand where it's at. Now, in the time when you were staying at his house 5 nights a week, and then when he went away to Hawaii to take care of his grandchildren, is that the period of time that you say he owes you money for?
Yes, he does.
Okay. And when you were living at his house, how much rent did you pay?
I have my own mortgage, so we never...
That's not what I asked you.
I didn't
when you were
pay any
living
rent.
at his house...
I didn't pay any rent.
Well, do you understand where we're going, Ms. Tucker?
I do.
Very good. I'm glad you understand where we're going.
But I feel like I need to explain a little bit more.
You have 3 minutes, and I have a very busy day.
I
you
also have my own
case.
mortgage. I have my own, taking care of his children and my own, going to
school. You weren't
school.
taking care of your own children.
Yes,
Your children live with their father. He has 2 children. One was 17, one was 20, 2 boys. The
his
20-year-old
youngest was 15 at the time, and we were very close. And
Ms. Tucker, 3 minutes are running out very, very fast. Come on.
I paid every single household bill from June to January.
Good. Great. And you live there?
I did not live there.
Okay. We're done. You have a stupid counterclaim. I'm going to tell you what your stupid counterclaim is.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
You have a stupid counterclaim. I'm going to tell you what your stupid counterclaim is. While she was there and her daughter was visiting, according to you, one of her children, who she had for a visit, left a box of chocolates out, and your deceased wife's chihuahua ate the chocolate, and died. That's one. And then she was baking cookies another time and left cookies out, and the other Chihuahua ate some more chocolate and had to go to the vet.
Correct.
That's what you want me to listen to?
Yes.
You know, I went to postgraduate school for 7 years. Goodbye.
You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I feel used.
I think she just wants money.
He took whatever he could from me and left. Even the shoes that he's wearing today, I purchased for him.
And I bought these shoes.
And I wanted him to have accountability.
She didn't like the fact that I didn't express my feelings towards her.
He can go home knowing that he has zero integrity
I never said the ILU.
and zero accountability for his actions.
I dodged a bullet today.
I hope that karma comes back and bites him.
And for the rest of my life.
I assume you got the dog as a puppy.
We got him for my birthday.
Not for her birthday.
An ex returns with demands.
The dog has been living with Mr. Sprudy. You want the dog back.
He would not let me in the house. He got in my face.
But will hounding the judge help?
Why would I want to uproot the dog?
I know that I can take care of the dog better.
The dog has lived with one constant person. That's him.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
24-year-old Heather Legler is sued for the return of her dog, Finn.
Order. All rise. It's case number 161 on the calendar in the matter of Legler versus Sprudy.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Sir, have a seat.
All right, this is about a dog. Is that right?
Yes.
You and Mr. Sprudy
Yes, ma'am.
lived together from when to when?
We started dating in...
I asked you when you lived together.
Sorry. We started living together a couple months after we started dating in...
Month and year.
May. We started dating in June. We lived together.
May 2017.
Sorry, 14.
And you left in January.
January
of
12th,
2018. You had a cat.
Yes.
How old is your cat?
10.
So you had your cat well before Mr. Sprudy.
Yes.
You came into your relationship with the cat.
Yes.
While you were living together as a couple, a dog came as part of the family. What month and year?
We got him in February of 2017 for my birthday.
February 2017. When did you get the dog?
February 2017, not for her birthday.
She added that gratuitously. I came into the family in February of 2017. You left the apartment and the relationship in January of 2018. So I assume you got the dog as a puppy.
Yes.
So the dog's lived with both of you for a year. You left in January.
I did.
We're now almost in August. So January, February, March, April, May, June, and July. For the last 7 months, the dog has been living with Mr. Sprudy.
Yes.
Now you're in an apartment that can handle the dog, take care of the dog. You want the dog back.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why would I want to uproot the dog?
The dog was mine. I purchased.
Why would I want to uproot the dog?
Because I believe I started out with me taking care of the dog the most. I know that I can take care of the dog better. I was taking care of the dog in the very beginning for the first year. I bought everything. I have everything in my name. The payment, the vet bills, microchip. I have photos.
When you left the house in January,
yes,
did you take your cat?
I did not take my cat because I wanted to come back and grab both of them.
The answer is you left the house and didn't take your cat. When did you come back to take your cat?
When I finally got April.
Tell me.
Sorry.
Month to get your cat.
April 12th when I got my apartment.
4/12.
2018.
Now, when you went back to the house on April 12th, some 3 months later.
Yes.
Did Mr. Sprudy give you your cat?
Yes, he did.
He did not give you your dog?
No, he would not let me in the house. He got in my face and...
He did not give you the dog?
No.
Listen, just because you get hysterical doesn't mean he has to succumb to that. You're hysterical with me. Is the dog with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Legler.
Yes.
The dog is at least 18 months old, 19 months old, almost 2. For all that time, the dog has lived with one constant person. That's him.
Yes.
Didn't live with you for the last 7 months.
I understand that.
When two people live together, from 2014 to 2018, that's like a couple. You had a lease together? Did you have a lease?
No.
Where did you live?
We lived at his aunt's for a while.
Okay, so from when did you live with the defendant's family? From when to when?
We lived with his aunt for about a year into our relationship.
When did you live with your aunt?
It was August of 2015 to May of 2016 when I purchased my house.
You purchased a house in your name?
Yes, ma'am.
How much was the house?
$185,000.
You have a mortgage?
Yes, ma'am.
How much?
$1,200. Just over that, but $1,200.
Since 16.
I was doing charity work at a company.
Just a second. Were you gainfully employed? That means for money.
Yes, yes. I had a job in the Mall of America. I had 2 stores that I managed. And now...
In 2016?
Yes.
Okay, so what were you earning in 2016?
About 14.
14 what?
$14.
You have a car?
Yes.
Is it paid for?
Yes.
Did you have a loan on the car?
I did not.
What did you contribute to the household?
I paid the electricity, the heat. We had 2 different, we had a gas and heat, garbage every 3 months.
When you moved into the house, at any time have a joint bank account?
No.
Just for my own information, when the dog was was it purchased on a credit card or by check?
It was by credit card and mine.
Just a second.
Sorry, Your Honor.
And you have that receipt?
I sure do.
I would like to look at it. Now, is it correct, Mr. Sprudy, that while you were living together and the bills were apportioned, you paid the mortgage, she evidently paid other bills, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That she paid the $494.06 to pay?
Yes, ma'am. It did come out of her account, yes.
Did you go together for the dog?
We went together to see the dog originally. I went February 22nd to pick up the dog by myself while she was at work.
Is that correct, Miss Ledger?
Yes, I had to work.
Is it also correct that you went to look at the dog together?
Yes, it is correct.
Now, when you went to look at the dog together, someone must have paid for the dog because otherwise you wouldn't have been able to pick the dog up, right? So when you went to look at the dog, was it paid for at that time?
I don't think it was paid for at that time, no.
Well, how could you pick up the dog if it wasn't paid for?
It was paid for after we went and saw because he was our second choice.
Explain that to me.
We went to go see, his name was Fisher at the time, a different dog in that same litter. We got there, was told that he was already taken, spoken for. So she told us that we can have our choice on the next one, and we chose him, Finn.
You could have your choice on the next litter.
Yeah, no, the next dog in the litter. Whatever dog we wanted to in that litter.
And why didn't you take the dog home that day?
Because they were too young, and he was gonna go get his shots and get neutered and all that stuff before we could take him home.
Now, I'd like you to explain to me why she paid dollars through her PayPal.
Well, our cash flows were a lot different. I paid the mortgage. I have a a mortgage statement here.
No, I got the fact that you paid the mortgage.
And she was only
paying... And the taxes.
Yep.
Not yep. That would be a yes.
Yes, ma'am.
And the taxes are how much on the house?
I'm not 100% sure on that.
Because you pay for it within the mortgage? They take
right. Yes. Escrow, yes.
Repairs on the house?
Me.
Food?
Me.
Split.
Sometimes.
You see what I mean? You lived together as a couple for 4 years. You paid for the dog.
Yes.
He paid for other things.
Yes.
Right now, the dog has been with him, which is my primary concern, because the fact that you lived in the house doesn't mean that you own a piece of the house. But the dog has been with him now for its whole life, including, most recently, the last 17 months. And it would have to be very, very compelling to me in a situation where a couple live together as a married couple for me to say, okay, now you've found a place to live that's more accommodating, so you can go to the house and take a dog that you raised together in the same house. I don't feel that kind of compelling story here. I don't. You have your cat. Cat's okay?
Yes, she's healthy.
Good, fine. You wanted a dog? I think you should go and buy one.
I paid for the dog. I wanted it for my birthday. I have all the forms. I have the adoption forms. I paid them. I did it all myself. He had no, please. I paid for it. I have pictures. I have vet statements. I did everything. Please.
He's been with me his whole life.
He fell in love with me first.
Honestly, I think it's trying to pull on my heartstrings.
I care for animals way more than he does.
I did everything for her.
He asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and that was it.
She wanted this, so
I really want my dog back.
dog is where he belongs.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Faskowitz versus Barukai, step forward.
Jack Faskowitz is suing his neighbor, Ben Barukai, for trespassing on his property and for mutilating his bougainvillea.
Mr. Faskowitz, how long have you owned or lived in your home?
About 21 years.
And how long have you been his neighbor?
18 years.
Have you always not gotten along?
Well, it started out when they moved in.
Well, that's 18 years ago.
18 years ago.
Okay, well, you couldn't have started before they moved in.
Right.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Are these the plants that you're talking about, sir?
Yes.
Pay attention to me. Were any of these hanging over on his property?
No, that's a sidewalk.
I know. Many of them were hanging over on his property.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jack Faskowitz says workers employed by neighbor Ben Barukai trespassed on his property and mutilated his bougainvillea.
It is your claim, Mr. Faskowitz, that the defendant has done a couple of things. He cut a plant of yours, a bougainvillea.
Mutilated plants and trees.
Okay, and then he cut down tree limbs that belong to your trees. The defendant doesn't deny that he had the trees trimmed, but that he said that they were hanging over his property, so that is his right.
No.
Tony, that wasn't a question to you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And that's too bad if his gardeners cut your plants. So I'd like you to tell me, within the last year, because I'm not going back 18 years, within the last year, what plants has he cut that belong to you?
Mainly bougainvilleas.
Okay, do you have photographs?
Yes.
I'd like to see them.
We've got some more, but those kind of are more drastic.
I'm not following, sir. Is what you're talking...
Way up. They cut them right down to the roots.
Is that what his gardeners cut?
That's not his gardener. His construction people that were there just mutilated the plants.
What were construction people doing on the property, sir?
They're building his property.
I didn't ask you a question.
I'm sorry, I thought you were talking to me.
Your Honor, I have a gardener who do the job every other week, cut the grass.
What were construction people doing on the property?
He's my maintenance guy. He's my worker for the past many years.
Is he maintenance, gardener, or construction?
Yes, he's maintenance and do gardening too.
Okay. Did you instruct him to cut these plants?
I did not instruct him to cut any of his plant. I did not cut any of his plant, neither intentionally or unintentionally.
Are these the plants that you're talking about, sir?
Yes, and many more inside. You keep going to pictures, yeah.
Pay attention to me.
Sure.
Were any of these hanging over on his property?
No, that's a sidewalk.
I know. This is a sidewalk. I'm asking you whether if these were the same plants, and these clearly are hanging over into the sidewalk on public property, I'm asking you if any of them were hanging over on his property.
No.
The root of this plant is on your property, correct?
Yes. It's all photographed on my side.
What you're telling me that he or his...
People went over there and I saw him doing it.
So they were on your... They had to have been...
In my property.
So they had to have been, in order to cut them like this, on your property.
Yes.
Now, when they were on your property, did you have a discussion with them?
Yes. I went out, they say they know English. So a few words of Spanish that I knew. I asked them, what are you doing here? Nada, nada, and they took off. There were about 5 or 6 of them with a pickup truck.
No. It's not true.
This is your house, correct?
Yes.
And this is the defendant's house?
I can't see it from here.
Circle your house.
This is my house right here. Okay. And this is his house over here, so all mine is right here. And this tree is completely chopped to the top.
Okay. Now I want you to write down here which is your side of the fence.
Okay.
And this is the defendant's house. Yes. That's what I thought. Now I would like him to mark, please, on that where his property is and where the defendant's property is.
This right here is my property. That's his property right here. That's everything here is my property. All this is shop. Yeah, right next to it. This is right here when it that. So he has a gardener for that.
George, this is his property.
His property.
Right, and this is...
Well, yeah. I absolutely get why he cut your plants, to make his side not look like your side, why his gardeners did, because they were encroaching on his property.
They were not.
I don't have a picture of before and after, do you?
Yes.
I'd like to take a look at it to see whether this is exactly the same, whether they were or were not encroaching on his property.
Your Honor, we never went to his property. Yes.
No,
I caught him inside.
I didn't say on your property. I said encroaching on your property.
Right.
He doesn't have to look at your bougainvillea. He can cut them if they're on his property, which looks exactly like what he did.
This is mine right here.
Or his gardeners did.
Your Honor, we never...
Can I see before and after? Your plants were on his property.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He's allowed to cut this tree all the way down to here.
But
that's on your property, but it's hanging over his property.
Okay.
He can cut it.
But it hangs down. But not going into my property, cut the roots.
Shame.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jack Faskowitz says workers employed by neighbor Ben Barukai trespassed on his property and mutilated his bougainvillea.
Is this his house?
Yes.
Your plants are on his property.
Well, if they were, all he had to do is just cut what it's there, but not go to the root in my yard.
Your plants were on his property. What else are you complaining about?
Then he built a, he said he didn't have any workers there. He built a hole inside, took the ceiling off with cottage cheese, his house.
Listen to me.
No, like I'm just going to, I want to point out the one thing.
I want you to tell me what else you're complaining about. You're complaining about the trees.
All the trees that he cut all the way along the line.
Just a second.
It's not only here.
He's allowed to cut this tree all the way down to here.
Right. But
that's on your property, but it's hanging over his property.
Okay.
He can cut it.
Well, he can cut it when it hangs down, but not going into my property, cut the roots.
Shame, shame. Don't go into his property again. He's allowed to cut your property.
We never went to his
you
property.
Cut my trees, they said, ha, 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 I'll give you $5.
We never
my wife was
I'm not talking to you.
I'm sorry.
And I would be quiet if I were you, because it doesn't look like you're losing.
I called the police, and I pointed out what they did there, mutilated the trees, and the police said it's a civil matter.
Don't tell me what the police said, sir. It's hearsay. What I'm telling you is your neighbor, which I will look at.
Right.
I would love to look at it.
Sure.
Your neighbor has the right to have a neat yard, a neat house, and you may love your bougainvillea, but he doesn't, and he doesn't have to look at your dead palm tree either hanging over his house. He's allowed to cut anything over his property line out. He should not go on, listen to me carefully, he should not go on to your property, nor should his workers go on to your property without your permission. So make sure that that doesn't happen again.
We've never...
You don't know never. Do you work?
Yes.
Do you work?
Yes.
Do you work in the house or outside of the house?
Both.
So sometimes you're outside of the house.
Yes.
And sometimes your maintenance people are working on the house when you're outside of the house. Yes. So you don't know what they're doing all the time. I'm telling you, make sure that they do not go on his property.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Want justice? Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, so now I have the police report. And the police report says, your first name is Jack?
Right.
Jack believes that his neighbor had the plants cut because he has had issues with a neighbor in the past. The last time Jack saw his plants was February 8th. And February 9th, you saw that they had been cut.
Right.
So you ascribed that to the neighbor. So don't tell me that you saw his people do it.
I did.
Okay. I just told him, don't go on his property again.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand?
Yes.
We're done here. That's it. Goodbye.
Are you excused? You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
And on the next Judge Judy.
This guy is for 18 years doing the same thing.
He's been harassing me and my workers.
No. I caught him in there.
I wish it was better. I don't know.
I caught him red-handed.
He's been harassing me. I just let it go.
Nah. There's no good neighbors with him. This guy is for 18 years doing the same thing.
You were delivering some medicine to the defendant's home.
A pharmacy's house call goes bad.
Before I put the medication at the door, the little kid, 4 years old, opened the door and the dog came out and bit my hand.
What did he say to you?
Bitter pill to swallow.
Your dog nipped him.
We're taking the position our dog didn't touch him.
I don't care what your position is.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
20-year-old Yusef DeBall is suing Michael James for medical bills and punitive damages from a dog attack.
Order. All rise. Yeah, that's case number 120 on the calendar in the matter of DeBall versus James.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Judge parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Mr. DeBall, you were delivering some medicine to the defendant's home.
Yes.
You were working independently. You were making deliveries for a pharmacy that you don't work for weekly.
He's my friend. He's the owner of the pharmacy.
That's not what I said to you. I want you to listen carefully.
Okay.
I said you don't work for the pharmacy on a weekly basis.
No, I don't.
You were making a delivery to the defendant's house.
Yes.
For whom was the medication?
It was for me.
Have you used this pharmacy before?
Never.
First time.
I didn't use them. My dermatologist uses them, and I wanted him to use my pharmacy.
I don't care.
Okay.
It's of no use them. Your dermatologist called the pharmacy, ordered a prescription.
Yep.
Okay. When had you been to the dermatologist?
Just a few days before this occurred.
And do you know on what day the dermatologist called the pharmacy?
No, I do not.
How were you notified that the dermatologist called the pharmacy?
The pharmacy delivery man called me.
Just a second. The pharmacy called you.
Called me and said, we will make your delivery.
We're going to go back. On what day were you bitten by the defendant's dog?
September 26th.
On what date did you go to the dermatologist? Well, I'm going to wait here as long as it takes.
I don't have that date. I didn't know I needed it, but it was a few days before the 26th, probably around the 22nd or 3rd.
And you went to the dermatologist for what reason, Mr. James?
For a rash.
Now, I've been to the dermatologist numerous times in my life. If I go in for a rash, the dermatologist gives me either a prescription or a sample. I assume you went to the dermatologist and the dermatologist gave you something.
Nope.
So you don't have a very good dermatologist, because if you went there for a rash and it took 2 or 3 days for him to call in a prescription, I would change my dermatologist. You understand where I'm going, Mr. James?
I understand.
Okay, you don't look like an unintelligent man. If you go to a dermatologist for a rash and the dermatologist gives you nothing but says, listen, I think it'll just go away, or change your lotion, and then I assume that you had to call your dermatologist and say the rash is getting worse? Come on, Mr. James, you know where I'm going.
I know.
Okay, so you know where I'm going. Let's get there faster than slower. You went there on the 22nd, 23rd. You went for a rash.
Yeah.
You went for a rash. The doctor didn't give you anything.
Nope.
And then what happened?
Then the delivery man...
No. Something happened before the delivery man, because you're not a fool. If I went to a dermatologist and I didn't get a prescription the next day, I would call the dermatologist and say, listen, I didn't get the prescription, or are you calling in a prescription for me? Do you want me to come back and get a prescription? The rash is getting worse. Something had to happen between the 22nd and the 23rd and the 26th, not just a call from a pharmacy.
I offered to pick it up. And he said, no,
James,
they'll call you for delivery.
Mr. James.
Sounded strange to me.
So just a second.
Okay.
Did your dermatologist say, I'm calling in a prescription to XYZ pharmacy, and they will call you when it's ready?
Correct.
On what date did you get a call from XYZ pharmacy that the prescription was ready?
Probably on the 25th.
That was a couple of days after you had been to the dermatologist.
Yes.
Did they already have your address?
Yes.
You were given the prescription.
11:30.
Morning or evening?
PM.
And I'd like you to tell me what happened when you were delivering the prescription. Stop shaking your leg.
Okay, at first we was planning to go to the gym together.
Listen to me. I don't care what you were planning. I want you to tell me what happened.
What happened when I get there?
You got the prescription.
Yes.
You drove there or walked?
Drove there.
And?
Okay.
Off the car.
Yes. And he told me, he told me already, like, he's going to leave the check. He taped it on the door and leave the medication.
He's going to leave a check taped on the door.
Yes.
Now, I want you to describe the door to me. Is there a porch? Do you just walk up to the door? Is it a
It's
private
like a
house?
screen, and you open the screen door and go to the door.
So it's a private house?
Yes.
Do you have to walk up a porch?
I'm just like a little to get the check and leave the medication there.
You didn't answer my question. Is there a porch?
It's not. It's just
Are
like
there
a screen
steps?
door. No, there's no steps.
You just walk straight into the house. So you have to open the screen.
And go to the door.
Did you open the screen?
Yes.
Was there an envelope attached to the door?
It was.
Did you take the envelope?
I took the envelope.
Then what happened?
And then before I put the medication at the door, the little kid, 4 years old, opened the door and the dog came out and bit my hand.
Who is a 4-year-old that lives in your house?
It's our grandson we're raising.
And what kind of a dog do you have?
Great Pyrenees.
So a small child opened the door. Had you the door?
I didn't knock the door.
You had already taken the check.
I took the check and I was about to put the medication.
After you were bitten and you left the house, did you leave the house with the check?
Yes.
Did you leave the house with the medication?
It was in my hand, but he took it after.
He took it?
Yes.
So after the small child opened the door and the dog came out, Mr. James came out?
He came out after.
What did he say to you?
At first, like, he was like a little bit rude to me. And it's like he didn't even say sorry to me. And I was like,
Don't tell me a little bit rude. I'm not interested in a little bit rude. I asked you what he said to you.
Oh, he's like, are you okay? And all this stuff. That's it.
Are you okay? Is that what he said?
Yes.
And what did you say?
I said, yeah, I'm okay.
And what did he say?
Nothing. We just called 911 to get there.
Who called 911?
Ash called.
He wasn't there with you.
I called him. I was like, I didn't know what to do. So I called him to like tell him what to do. So he came.
Was this the first time you had made deliveries for your friend?
Yes.
So you called 911?
Yes.
Great. Sit. And where did you go from there?
I went to the hospital.
You went to what hospital?
Countryside Hospital.
Were photographs taken of your injury?
Yes.
I'd like to take a look at them. So this was on your hand?
Yes, my left hand.
And how many wounds were there, 1 or 2?
It's like one in my finger and one right here.
And they washed it out?
Yeah.
At the hospital?
Yes.
Okay. And they gave you a Band-Aid?
Yeah.
And then you contacted a lawyer?
Yes.
On what date did you contact the lawyer?
After like a week after.
Why?
Because I was waiting for him like to pay the bills for the hospital, but he didn't.
Oh, did you ask him to pay the hospital bill?
We did at first. Like after I hired the lawyer, I did.
After you hired the lawyer, why
Yes.
didn't you call him before you hired the lawyer and say, listen, I went to the hospital just to make sure that it was okay, and they put a Band-Aid on it, but I have this hospital bill now that I have to pay. Before you went to a lawyer.
Because the lawyer would get like fast and like.
No, the lawyer wouldn't deal with fast. The lawyer would get you more money. And the lawyer said, forget it.
No, he contacted him.
He contacted him and asked him if he had insurance. He said he had no insurance. The lawyer said, forget it, because you had no real injuries. So did you go to another lawyer?
No, I was with the same lawyer.
But the one lawyer told you to forget it.
No, he didn't tell me to forget it.
Well, then why are you here in small claims court?
Because he tried to contact him and told him like to pay for the bills, but he said like I'm not gonna pay for the bills, so that's why I like.
No, but did you fire the lawyer? I just want to know why you're
No,
here.
I still have the lawyer.
Well, then what are you doing here?
Because he said like he's not gonna pay for the bills, and I opened a small.
Going to proceed against him. If I give you the medical bills, are you going to continue with the lawyer to sue him?
No.
So you don't need the lawyer?
No.
Okay. Can I see your medical bill?
Yeah.
How many different doctors did you go to?
There's one bill for the doctor and the other one's for the hospital.
Outrageous. I mean, it's actually outrageous. No wonder the country is in such catastrophic state with regard to medical gouging. Did you pay any part of the bill?
Not yet.
So you understand the checks go right to these people. You understand that?
Yeah.
Just want to make that
Yeah,
crystal clear to you. Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You said to him, are you okay? Now, when I have people come to my house to deliver, because my husband loves to order things from Amazon Prime, and I say, thank you very much, I'll take the package, I never ask them how they are.
And later today.
No, that I don't believe, Ms. Jackson.
My car is still at the hotel. That's
Why
why
would you leave cash in your car?
Because I'm going back to my car. I didn't want to be overpacked. I said, I just need this folder right here. This was it.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Pharmacy clerk Yusef Dubal says he was delivering medicine when a dog owned by Michael James bit him.
How many different doctors did you go to?
There's one bill for the doctor and the other one is for the hospital.
Outrageous. No wonder the country is in such catastrophic state with regard to medical gouging. Now, did you pay any part of the bill?
Not yet.
So you understand the checks go right to these people. You understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. Your dog nipped him.
Am I allowed to say anything?
Sure. You can say whatever you want. Your dog nipped him. He's not going to get rich on your dog nipping him.
No, it's outrageous what he did. We're taking the position our dog didn't touch him.
I don't care what your position
No,
is.
I mean, I'm just saying, our dog didn't nip him.
You weren't there.
She was there.
No.
Not me. Not me. I was in the back of the house.
Just a second. She wasn't there. The 4-year-old was there. The 4-year-old opened the door.
No.
4-year-old's not here. 4-year-old I can question. You have a Great Pyrenees?
Yes.
Yes. The Great Pyrenees nipped him. And that's frightening. And frightening enough for you to have said to him, sir, and I don't care what your position is, are you okay? Do you understand? Do you understand? You didn't come to the door and say, give me my medication, thank you very much. You to my house to deliver, and they do, at least 10 times a day, because my husband loves to order things from Amazon Prime. So 100 times a week, I have delivery men coming to my door, and I say, thank you very much, I'll take the package. I never ask them how they are. Not that I don't care how they are. I care how they are. But when somebody makes a delivery, you don't say, are you okay? Do you understand, Mr. James? Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,800. Checks go to the medical facilities. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
When I got out there, my driveway was filled with fire trucks.
He just he likes to lie.
Dog control, paramedics, and later a policeman.
Why I'm gonna try to hurt myself? There's no reason for it.
So somebody made these calls very quickly.
Because my hand was bleeding, and when they asked him is the dog has his shots?
Because you can't get all these 4 people in your driveway.
He said I'm not sure, so we're not sure if the dog has shots.
Within 20 minutes.
So I have to go to the house to get a shot and clean it up.
I'm implying this is all a setup. This is a setup.
I do afraid of dog. I get afraid of dog a lot.
Oh, I want to put it to bed.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Phillips versus Jackson. Step forward.
LaVonda Phillips is suing her cousin, Rose Jackson, for the value of a car she claims damages for forging her name.
Miss Phillips, the defendant is your cousin?
Yes.
And it is your claim she has your car?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson says she purchased the car from you, and that if, in this case, you get the car back, she wants the money that she spent in repairing the car. Do I have it right?
Yes.
Great. So this car, according to your complaint, was a 2000 Mercedes-Benz that was inoperable, correct?
Yes.
When had you purchased it?
Back in 2015, I believe.
Well, let's take it very slowly so that you don't give me any misinformation. You purchased this Mercedes in 2015. From whom?
My brother.
And what's his name?
Robert.
And when did he purchase the car?
He purchased the car from an auction.
He bought it at auction?
Yes.
When?
I don't even remember, ma'am.
When you bought it in 2015 from your brother, how much did you pay him for it?
I just paid for the repairs.
How much?
$700.
So you paid $700 for repairs. What was wrong with it?
It needed motor mounts.
So your brother gave you the car?
Basically, yes, ma'am.
When did it stop running?
March of 2016.
So now we have a car that was given to you as a gift, that in order for you to drive, you had to put in $700. But shortly after, you were not running. So far, am I getting my story correct?
Yes.
Perfect.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Where's the $200?
It's in my car at the hotel. But I can go get it.
Well, but I don't want to wait for you. I wait for you to go back to the hotel. I'll never get to the gym. I won't get my nails done. Look at my nails.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
LaVonda Phillips says her cousin, Rose Jackson, forged her name and stole her car.
So now we have a car that was given to you as a gift, that in order for you to drive, you had to put in $700. But shortly after you repaired it, it stopped running. And then it sat there, not running. So far, am I getting my story correct?
Yes.
Perfect. Then your cousin and you got into a discussion, and according to you, she wanted to buy it. You said, well, take the car, see what it'll be to fix it, and then I'll negotiate a price with you, right? And instead of doing that, your cousin took the car and had it fixed. And now it's running, right?
Yes.
And you're using it.
My daughter.
Your daughter's using it.
Yes.
And you spent a lot of money. Where is the title to the car?
Well, we had to get a new title. I have the title.
In your name or your daughter's name? So you want her to pay you $3,500 because you say that the deal was once she got the car running, you would negotiate a price with her on how much you would charge her for the car that you had gotten from your brother for nothing that wasn't running well, right? Now you want $3,500 for it.
Yes.
And Miss Jackson says, well, I have the car. And she said, take the car. It's not running, hasn't been running for 2 years. Get it fixed, and I'll sell it to you for how much, Miss Jackson?
She sold it to me for $500.
$500?
Yes.
Well, sounds reasonable. Did you pay her the $500?
I paid her $300 of it.
You did, in cash?
In cash.
And tell me when.
That will be in July the 7th. I gave her $200 initially, and then on July the 12th, I gave her another $100. And later on, I tried to give her the rest of her money, and she wouldn't take it.
Okay. Did Miss Jackson make 2 payments to you in July of last year?
No.
How much did she give you?
She gave me $100 in April, and then in July, she gave me another $100.
That's $200.
Yeah.
So you say instead of her giving you $300 in total, she only gave you $200.
She gave me the time.
Okay, so she gave you $300 in total.
Yes.
So according to you, Miss Jackson, you owe her another $200 for
Yes.
the purchase of the car.
Yes, I do.
Right.
Your Honor, I didn't mind giving it to.
Take it out. Where is it? Where's the $200?
Actually, it's in my purse. Excuse me, ma'am. It's in my purse.
You have it in cash?
Yes, I do.
Go get it.
It's in my car at the hotel.
No, that I don't believe, Miss Jackson.
My car is still at the hotel. That's why
would you leave cash in your car?
Because I'm going back to my car. And seriously, in my purse, I didn't want to be overpacked. I said, I just need this folder right here. This was it.
Okay. Miss Phillips.
But I can go get it.
Well, but I don't want to wait for you because
Okay,
I have things to do this afternoon. I have to get to the gym. I have things to do. I have to get my nails done. I wait for you to go back to the hotel. I'll never get to the gym. I won't get my nails done. Look at my nails.
Yes, I understand. See?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
You owe her another $200 for
Yes.
the purchase of the car.
Yes, I do.
Where's the $200?
It's in my purse.
You have it
at the hotel. But I can go get it.
Well, but I don't want to wait for you. I wait for you to go back to the hotel. I'll never get to the gym. I won't get my nails done. Look at my nails.
Yes, I understand. See?
No, you have no case. She's going to give you $200, and then you're finished. You got a car for nothing. You had to have it repaired. It was dead for 2 years. She had it fixed. Now you have it. Now you have it. She has it running. That she paid for to have it running. Now you want $3,500 for it?
No, that is not it. I came here for forgery. That before she paid me my money, she took my car out my name.
Oh, well,
that's what I'm very
That's what you're here for?
Yes.
That she forged your name?
Yes.
Well, go to the police. We're done.
Okay.
I'm finished with you.
Thank you,
Judge Judy. I love you.
Parties are
Perfect. Love you.
excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I ain't ever tried to keep her money, and I won't ever do that. That's just not the type of person I am.
I don't have a comment.
It don't sit well with me that she's accusing me of that because I'm not that kind of person.
I don't have a comment.
The title from DMV, when you buy a car, you switch names.
She stole the title.
I don't know. She probably missed me. I don't know.
Out the glove box.
I'm going to always love my cousin. That's one thing for sure.
I just do not. No.
Completely. I'm not going to do it. So this was a lesson for me.
A tenant they couldn't evict.
When was the last time you paid rent? She's a hustler.
And the animals
You have dogs?
Yes.
that should have left with her.
These dogs attacked me without really barking anything. They just jumped on me.
A smaller dog bit you?
Yes.
Where?
on my foot. I had to go to the ER, get my shots. She never came up to apologize.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Jerry Napolitano and his girlfriend, Elke Koch, are suing their former tenant, Michelle Dominic, for car damage and a dog attack.
Order. All rise. It's case number 160 on the calendar, the matter of Napolitano Koch versus Dominic.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Party's been sworn in. You may be seated.
I'm going to start with you, Miss Dominic.
Yes.
You are the tenant of the plaintiffs, is that correct?
That's correct.
How long have you been their tenant? What kind of premises are you renting from them?
It's the bottom half of the property. It's a cabin.
It's a house?
Yes.
Not an apartment?
No.
Before you lived there, where did you live?
Briefly in Reseda, but before that it was Tehachapi in Bakersfield.
Just a second. Immediately prior moving in with them, where did you live?
Reseda.
With whom?
Roommates.
For how long?
3 months.
Prior to that, where did you live?
Tehachapi.
How long did you live there?
7 months.
Who were your landlords there?
I didn't have one.
Who were you living with?
My son, since my separation.
An adult son?
Yes.
Prior to that, where were you living?
In Bakersfield, with my husband.
For how long?
My whole life.
So when you and your husband separated, you went to live with your son?
Yes.
Then you went for 7 months, then you went to live with roommates?
Yes.
Okay. Who do you work for?
I do not work.
How do you support yourself?
I am disabled.
When was the last time you worked?
I briefly worked the beginning of this year for a couple months, trying to see if I could go back to work.
What kind of work?
At a grocery store.
Does the government send you disability?
I'm Social Security.
When was the last time you paid rent to the plaintiffs?
May.
So you moved in April.
Really?
Shh.
Oh, yeah. I never saw it.
Just a second. Don't irritate me. Plaintiff said he didn't see that, and they're currently trying to evict you, and you're not paying rent. So you're a squatter.
No.
Yes, you are. You're a squatter. That's exactly what you are. When you live in somebody else's property and you don't pay rent, you're a squatter. When you lived with your son, I assume you weren't paying rent, but he's your son. Are you related to these people?
No.
Well, then if you live in somebody's property, you have to pay rent.
I agree.
You agree, so why don't you pay rent?
Circumstances happen.
Just a second. There are no circumstances that happen. You moved into a property knowing you couldn't afford to pay any rent, and you didn't pay rent, and now you're putting these people through the process of having to evict you. They have to spend money, they have to spend time, they have a property that they wanted to rent to somebody because they needed extra money, otherwise they would, you know, make a gym out of their cabin. I mean, what kind of person is that?
I was able to pay the rent.
Just a second. You only lived there in April. You paid April's rent. And then you didn't pay in May, you didn't pay in June, you didn't pay in July. They're trying to evict you. You're still not paying. When do you have to go back to housing court?
I've never been to housing court yet.
So do you have a date?
Not that I'm aware of.
Do you have a date?
She already missed that date, Your Honor.
What was the date?
Oh, God.
She's a hustler.
No.
She's a hustler.
Sorry, I'm not. Ma'am.
Oh, absolutely. You're maybe not with your son, maybe not with your 3 roommates, but you certainly are a hustler with them.
May 31st, Your Honor.
And I've
Here's
never
the filing.
received it.
Here's the filing paper, May 31st.
What was the first court date?
The court date for the eviction?
Yes.
Hasn't been set yet. The court hasn't set a date for that.
No, she already missed that date.
Yeah.
By not showing up. Oh, no, she didn't miss the date. She never responded.
What is your last name? Are you Napolitano or Koch?
Yes, Your Honor. Napolitano.
Mr. Napolitano, let's try just to answer my questions. We get through the day much quicker, and I'll be much happier. Was there a court date? That's either yes. No, Mr. Napolitano. That's either yes or no. Was there a court date?
Yes.
What was that court date?
I don't know.
Well, if you don't know, how was she supposed to know?
Well, it was on the papers that she was served with, and I
you don't have
know
a copy of
because
those?
after she didn't respond, there was no reason to go to court.
Do you have a lawyer who is helping you with this eviction process?
Yes, I'm using the document people. They're
just a second. Document people.
paralegals.
Listen to me. If you ever want to get rid of her, get
Thank
a
you.
lawyer. That's not what your lawsuit is about. I wish it was. I wish I could issue an order just throwing her out of your premises. If I could, I would issue an order to the marshals to pack her up and move her out, because I think it's disgraceful when some Ford belonging to strangers and squats there and knows that the eviction process, because there are so many squatters, is going to take 6 months, and then you're just going to be so happy to get rid of them, you're not going to bother with them. Just get them out of my premises. You forgive 6 months' rent. She's smiling. She knows the drill.
No.
Of course.
Okay.
No, ma'am. You're wrong.
Show me your rent for May, June, and July.
I didn't.
You didn't pay it. So you moved in April, and you gave them money in April, and not since, unless you can show me proof.
I didn't bring it.
Well, if you weren't coming to the beach today, you were coming to court today.
For this?
Yeah. No, you were coming to court today. You bring everything, concerning everything. Now, you have dogs?
Yes.
What kind of dogs did you bring to their premises?
I brought my pit bull and a wiener dog.
Which dog bit whom?
The little black dog bit her. The big dog knocked her down.
You're Miss Koch?
Yes.
Do you live together?
Yes, we do.
Is he like this all the time?
Worse.
It can be a little demanding, yes.
Okay.
I am not sure how she described the black dog. I don't know what kind of a breed it is.
She said it's a little black dog. She called it a wiener dog, which means a dachshund.
Okay.
Okay. Would you tell me when that dog bit you?
I had gotten home from work the day before. I was outside in the morning to water the plants, and her gates were right next to where I was taking the water, the hose off the wall, and all of a sudden, the gate jammed open, and these dogs attacked me without really barking anything. They just jumped on me.
Is there a gate separating... Shh. Let me finish the question before you answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a gate separating your property, where you live, with Mr. Napolitano, who's annoying the heck out of me? Is there a gate in between your property where you live with Mr. Napolitano? That doesn't seem to bother you when I say you're annoying me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were talking to me. I was trying to find the pictures
No,
of
I'm
it
talking
for
to you. I didn't ask you for a picture. I'm asking her a question. Is there a gate separating the property where you live and the property that she was living in?
There's now 2 gates. Initially, when she moved in, there was only 1 gate. And at some point in April, the dogs did escape through that gate. So Jerry Napolitano insisted that she would secure her entry more with another gate. That morning, I went outside there. They managed to open or squeeze through both gates and viciously attacked me.
Were you on your biv?
Yes.
Okay. And the smaller dog bit you?
Yes.
Where?
On my foot. It happened that the pit bull kind of pushed me. I lost my balance, landed on my back, and the black dog had no other reason to attack me. So
May I see it?
I had to go to the ER, get my shots, and had it x-rayed. The tendons were all swollen. It got infected, and I'm emotionally so upset now. I cannot...
When did you see her afterwards?
When?
When did you see her after?
Never. She never came up to apologize.
How did the dogs get back onto her property?
It happened that Jerry came to help me, and then he pushed the dogs back into her area and closed the gates, and then he brought me upstairs to do first aid on my foot.
And you haven't seen her since?
No. No, she never had the decency of even answering my emails when I asked her to.
Did you send her an email?
Yeah, twice.
I'd like to see it.
It's right here.
She also said she had insurance.
Mm-hmm. It's all in there.
Yeah.
She never responded to you?
No, ma'am.
Your email address is 15. Is that your email address?
Yes.
That's either yes or no.
Yes, it is. And I've got...
I don't believe you.
I've got one.
Just a second. I don't believe that you never received the email.
Okay.
Don't believe you. I don't believe you about a whole bunch of things.
Obviously.
Obviously. There's a good reason for that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good reason that I've been here for 23 years. Because you're a hustler.
No, ma'am.
Oh, yes, you are. You're a hustler. You're living in somebody else's property, eating their dinner, and not paying for your food. No, listen to me carefully.
Yeah.
You go into a restaurant, you eat a steak, you pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
You're living in somebody's property, you're not paying rent.
And I want
that
out.
Makes you,
Trust me,
that makes
I want
you
out.
Well, then get out. Just a second. Then get out.
Trying.
You're not trying.
Yeah.
All you have to do is get out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Your son threw you out.
No, nobody threw me out.
Well, then you can go back to your son if you can't afford rent.
I don't want to move back to Bakersfield. Thank you.
You don't like to live in Bakersfield with your son? Get a job.
And later today,
He was very nice to you. The car broke down. I can't get a driver out today. That's pretty shoddy work for somebody who's been in business 15 years.
Your Honor, that was during my investigation process.
Below me.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jerry Napolitan's a former tenant, Michelle Dominic, owes for damaging a car and a dog attack.
Now, your roommates threw you out. You went to live with your son. Your son threw you out. You found another place to live. Go back to your son.
No, nobody threw me out.
Well, then you can go back to your son if you can't afford rent. Go back to your son.
I don't want to move back to Bakersfield. Thank you.
Yeah, listen, when I was 24 years old, I wanted to live in Manhattan. I couldn't afford living in Manhattan. I lived in Brooklyn. That's where I lived. You don't like to live in Bakersfield with your son? Get a job. I don't want to hear about the dog crate. I'm not interested in the dog crate. Judge him for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,000. We're done.
Your Honor. Excuse me, step
We're
out.
done. Listen to me. We are done.
Oh.
Feel happy, Mr. Napolitano.
Please are excused. You may step out.
He has been trying to be very controlling.
She's got all of her rights, but I can't do anything.
I hope I can get out very quickly.
Move. Yeah, please move. Go have a great life somewhere else.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Hang versus Clemenson. Step forward.
Ming Hang is suing tree trimmer Arnold Clemenson for damaging his porch when he cut down a tree.
Mr. Clemenson, what is your regular line of work?
Yours?
Do you work for yourself or someone else?
I work for myself.
What's the name of your company?
Leaning Trees Tree Service.
The plaintiff hired you to cut down a tree in his backyard.
Yes, Your Honor, he did.
You went and gave him an estimate?
Yes.
How much was the estimate?
$1,500, Your Honor.
How much money did Mr. Hang give you?
$1,000.
That was before you started the work.
That was after I dropped the tree.
Well, you dropped the tree on what date?
April 21st, Your Honor.
So you had completed the work if you dropped the tree.
No, I completed the work when I came back a week and a half later and picked up the debris.
And on what date did you return?
Approximately a week and a half later, I would say April 30th, I believe.
How come there was a 9-day lapse between...
There was about 2 feet of snow, and we had to wait for some of the snow to melt before we could get the truck in there.
All right, Mr. Hang, this is what your lawsuit is about. Your lawsuit is that Mr. Clemenson dropped the tree, and in the process of dropping the tree, part of the tree fell on your back porch, and that caused damage. So that's really what you're suing for, the damage to the back porch.
Yes. Yes.
And Mr. Clemenson is countersuing for the balance of the job, which is the $500, because he says he came back a week and a half later and cleaned up the rest of the debris. So I want you to tell me about April 21st, when he came to cut down the tree. Do you have photographs? I'd like to see it.
Okay.
You have a video.
Ma'am, I have a video.
Great.
Here's some photos.
Mr. Hang, when the tree was cut down and you allege this damage to the deck and siding, did you discuss it with Mr. Clemenson?
Yes.
Can you tell me about the conversation?
I said to him that, you know...
Don't make it up.
Okay, yeah, I don't. I'm not.
Good.
I said to him about the tree falling, the damage I've seen on my deck, and I was asking when he would come back to actually finish the fixing of the deck and pick up the brushes.
And what did he say?
He said he would be coming back within a week or so. He would take $1,000 first and $500 after he's done with the job.
What about your damaged deck?
He did mention that he was going to fix it within a week after the brushes are being picked up. And then from there, we just had texts going back and forth.
I'd like to see the texts.
Okay. There's some of that.
You, in May, after you gave him one excuse after another for not coming back to finish the siding, asking him if he's got an extra piece of siding that you could match, and then you would take care of the broken patio. That's what you said.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When you make a mistake, you're supposed to say, I made a mistake, I'll fix it.
The day that I dropped a tree, there was no damage to the deck or to the house.
Then you're the worst businessman. I don't know how you're still in business, sir.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Ming Hang says tree trimmer Arnold Clemenson damaged his porch when he cut down his tree. Arnold is countersuing for unpaid work.
Okay. Then you said to him, if you want to keep the $500 you'll owe when I'm done and fix it yourself or have somebody else do it, you can do that too. So that acknowledges from you, Mr. Clemenson, that the damage to the deck and the siding were as a result of your negligence. That's number one. Number two, he was very nice to you. He said, you know, he's having a birthday party. Could you please come out? The car broke down. I can't get a driver out today. Finish it up. That's pretty shoddy work for somebody who's been in business 15 years.
Your Honor, that was during my investigation process. When
No. Baloney. Don't go there. You make yourself look more foolish. You don't want to make your company to look more foolish, do you?
No, Your Honor, I don't.
Well, when you make a mistake, you're supposed to say, I made a mistake, my fault, I'll fix it, and do it. Not an investigation stage.
Well, Your Honor, the day
Here we go.
With all due respect, Your Honor, the day that I dropped a tree, there was no damage to the deck or to the house, and I have video evidence of that right here.
I would absolutely love to see it. Then you're the worst businessman. I don't know how you're still in business, sir. Because
tree climber, Your Honor.
you say to him, do you have any siding left over? Or I'll have to match up the piece the best I can.
Well, I
can
know what
put
I
a
said,
knee
Your Honor. I was
piece on
trying
the
to set
snug.
him up and catch him in a lie. That's why I said all those things. Because I had personally inspected the deck and the house, and there was no damage to it the day that I left. A week and a half later, I get a text saying that there's damage to the house, I'm not paying you. So in my investigation process, I tried to figure out how in the world
Just a
this
second,
happened.
April 25th. Hi, Ernie, just wondering when you guys will be back to finish off the rest, because I'll be doing my daughter's birthday party on May 6th. And you say, we'll finish it over, or I'll have to match it up the best I can. Then April 27th, you say to him, okay, but I can't get a driver over. It'll have to wait until next week.
Your Honor, that was the debris of the tree. We were talking about that because he had a daughter's birthday party. They needed the tree picked up.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay.
She was apparently balanced pretty well.
Yeah, I was nervous. For sure.
That's awesome.
Bird, you want to play it one more time for me?
Sure. She was apparently balanced pretty well.
I can see the bottom of the deck and the siding where he says it's damaged right over in the corner. Mr. Hang.
Yep.
Would you walk over to the picture? Point out to me where it's damaged.
Right here.
Right there.
Yep.
That's
right here.
exactly where
And
it looks like it's damaged.
The door steps is right below here.
Did you have it fixed?
I have not yet got it fixed.
Do you have an estimate to have it fixed
Yes, I
on the
do.
siding? I'd like to see it.
I have an estimate for my lawn damage too.
I'm not interested in your lawn damage.
Okay.
Just for the deck and the one piece of siding. Okay. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,750. Your counterclaim's dismissed. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
The judge made the right call.
It is what it is. She's a nice lady.
It's a good thing I was home at that day that happened.
I was investigating, telling him some things that he wanted to hear just so I could try to catch him in a lie.
Make sure you don't hire people without any license.
No, I didn't catch him.
I'm happy with that.
Take a lot more pictures, definitely.
Josh, for whatever reason, lost his temper.
A tenant's shocking tantrum?
He took out a knife and he chopped out the entire internal lighting system of my kitchen.
Did you call the police?
No.
Or a landlord hoping to spark a payday?
Josh had a temperament that would go from sullen to very explosive at times.
I don't understand why a man who's sane would have a nut living in their house for 5 months.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
22-year-old Joshua Garver and his father Gerald are suing Joshua's former landlord, Jason Wiseman, for the return of harassment and bullying.
Order. All rise. It's case number 132 on the calendar, the matter of Garver versus Weissman.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat.
Who rented the room? That would be you. Your first name is?
Joshua.
You are?
Gerald, his father.
How old are you?
22.
When did you rent the room from the defendant?
June 1st, 2017 through March of 2018.
And you want your security deposit back?
Correct.
Including rent.
I didn't ask you anything. You want your security deposit back?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Did you have a lease with him?
I did, Your Honor.
That went from when to when?
1 year, so it would have been June 1st, 2017 through May 31st, 2018.
You moved out early.
Correct.
So you broke the lease.
Your Honor, I had first learned that Mr. Weissman...
No. My question is, you had a contract.
Correct.
You moved out. Unless you paid rent for April and May, you broke the lease. Did you pay the rent?
We paid the rent.
Fine. So you did not break the lease.
Correct.
Correct. Now, I'd like you to tell me, Joshua, what happened to you in either February or March?
Mid-February, I believe it was the 16th, to the school.
So you go to school?
Yes, I was attending college.
And what happened next?
Driving down, I had slid off the road and wrecked my car. At that point, I had already been...
Just a second. Were you injured?
Thankfully, I was not.
And?
I had already been concerned over the property.
I don't care what you had been concerned about. Your concern is not of a concern to me. February 16th, you had a car accident and wrecked your car. What happened after that? Did you get another car to go to school?
At that point, I realized I needed to find an apartment within walking distance to the school.
So after you had the car accident, you wanted to move closer to school?
Exactly.
Did you find an apartment closer to school?
I did.
When did you move in?
Mid-March.
Where did you live between mid-February and March, mid-March?
I spent a week.
Where?
1 week was in a dorm room. A friend let me stay in his dorm room.
1 week. Well, now, was that in February or March?
That was February.
Was that right after the accident?
Yes.
So that was the week after the accident. You lived in a dorm room.
Yes.
And then where did you live?
My father brought me a car.
Just a minute. So your father got you another car?
Correct.
That was the second week after the accident?
I believe so, yes.
And then where did you live?
And as I was...
That's in February, so that would have been the fourth week in February.
Correct.
The fourth week in February, you lived with whom?
I had spent some time back at the property because I now had transportation.
So far, we're doing fine. Got it?
Yes.
So the fourth week in February and the first 2 weeks in March, you lived at the apartment until you found accommodations closer to campus.
Correct.
On what date did you move into the new accommodations?
I believe it was March 13th, Your Honor. We have it written down, though.
Great. And then you paid rent through the end of your lease?
Correct.
How much was your security deposit?
$475.
How much was your rent?
$475.
Now, the plaintiff moved out of his room that was rented in your home. You had other roommates.
Yes.
How many others?
3.
So you had 3 other roommates. He rented a room.
Yes.
Do you rent or own the house?
I own the house.
You did not return, despite the fact that they paid rent, so they're not in breach of the lease. You did not return his security deposit. Do you want to tell me why?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Josh had a temperament that would go from sullen to very explosive at times. I got a call from one of the other tenants that
Don't tell me what anybody else said to you,
okay.
sir.
Don't worry.
Why you didn't return his security. Put your hand down. I want you to tell me why you didn't return his security deposit. The why has to be because he either breached his lease by not paying you rent, which clearly he did not. He paid his rent, despite the fact that his father would like to have the rent back. And I understand that, Mr. Garver, but you're not entitled to your rent back, and you're not entitled to the rent back because your son moved because he wanted a place closer to school, just as long as we understand that. This is all about security deposit.
If I could just say...
I don't care whether it's legal, whether it's illegal, whether he should have had him there, whether he should have had tenants there. I don't care.
Okay, I see.
Your son lived there and chose to leave because he wanted to live someplace more comfortable and closer so he didn't have to drive. That's the reason he moved. He didn't move because of untenable conditions. He didn't move for any other reason other than that he had an accident. That's why he moved when he did. And I know that because for 1 week he lived with a buddy, according to him, but then he went back to stay at his apartment for 3 weeks. Do you understand? Until another place was ready. So you have to show me why he doesn't get his security back. Okay, Bird, he's going to show me.
Sometime in November, Josh, for whatever reason, lost his temper. He took out a knife and he chopped out the entire internal lighting system of my kitchen. He ripped and tore it out and yanked it out of the walls. He admitted in the text there of that.
Okay. This was in November of 2017.
Yes.
So he vandalized your home?
Yes.
Did you call the police?
No.
No. Did you seek to get a protective order?
No, I
excluding him from the house? And he lived there in November and December and January and February and part of March?
Yes.
Well, if somebody took a knife, sir, because they were having a mood swing, take your hand out of your pocket. There's only one attitude here, it's mine. If somebody took a knife and cut all the wires in my house, a tenant, my first call would be to the police to have him removed, because that's nuts, right?
Exactly.
And?
And I didn't because I knew that the lease lasted so long, and either way, he had agreed to repair any damage that he did. He signed 2 agreements that any damage that he had done to the house, he would have to take care of.
I'd like to see them. I'd like to see the, I'm not talking about the initial lease. Don't show me the initial lease. Are those agreements after he did the damage, acknowledging he did damage? It says, or is that the original lease?
That's when he moved in, he agreed any damages that he did, he would take care of.
No way. Show me where he acknowledged that he caused this type of crazy damage and agreed to pay for it. Not before it happened, after it happened. Because I don't understand why a man who's sane would have a nut living in their house for 5 months.
Yeah, after the text where he admitted doing that, I sent him a letter saying, this is improper behavior, you're going to have to take care of this. His explanation was that the lighting system was melted and malfunctioning, and I said, if you had a problem, per the lease, you're supposed to come to me.
Very good. You have to give him a security deposit back. What else?
Well, he ripped the entire communication system out of the kitchen. And
what you're talking about, sir, you're describing a vandalism. And I'm saying to you is if I had a tenant who, as a result of mood swings, which is what you're alleging, vandalized with a knife, which is the first thing that you showed me, the first call that I would make are to authorities to have them removed from my house, because I'd be afraid of what else they were doing. Sure. That's not what it was about. What else do you claim that he did to your house?
Well, the lease that I'd gotten, I thought the proper thing to do was to wait till his lease was up.
Get your security back. We're done here. Counterclaims dismissed.
Can I show you a few of the items?
No.
All these are excused. You may step out.
I was doing everything that I thought was right.
I'm happy we have the return security deposit.
Don't let crazy people move into your house.
Make sure the property owner is renting legally and will not threaten eviction.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Bonaparte versus Judy. Step forward.
Whitney Bonaparte is suing her ex-boyfriend, John Judy, for the theft of a Corvette and for abandoning his dogs.
Miss Bonaparte, the defendant was your boyfriend, and you lived together for a period of time.
Yes.
He left.
He left on April 11th.
On April 11th, how long had you been together?
We had been living in the same house for 6 years.
And based upon what I read, Mr. Judy, you left without saying a word. You figured that it was better that way. But when you left, according to Miss Bonaparte, you did 2 things. You took some property that belonged to her that you had made gifts of during the course of your relationship. So you took some property, but you left her the dogs, your dogs.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why did you leave her your dogs?
Because of my medical reasons, and I was going through depression. It was best for me not to take them.
So because you were depressed and anxious, you left the dogs. She doesn't want. But you took other property that you acknowledged that you took that's disputed. Tell me what property you took with you.
Well, I had a few cars.
So, just as you had a few cars.
Yes.
So the cars didn't make you anxious. Having a few cars didn't make you anxious.
They were in storage, Your Honor.
What cars are they?
They're a Trailblazer, a Corvette, and a Jeep.
And those were all in storage?
Yes, Your
Are they
Honor.
all registered in your name?
They're not registered on. It's all open titles.
What does that mean, open title?
Open titles mean it's not registered to no one.
Well, every
They
car...
weren't never registered. I got them, and I never registered them.
Just a second. How did you get them?
I bought them, Your Honor.
From whom?
From places. One of them was from a friend of mine. The other two were that I bought from the street.
I feel like I'm on an episode of Sacha Baron Cohen.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He gave me a Corvette.
Just a second. He bought it from Craigslist in order
And
to
gave
get
it to me for my birthday.
Okay. What else? I'm finished with your birthday present Corvette.
And later today,
In your name.
Right.
And that's because?
I got pulled over without insurance.
That's not the reason.
Okay.
That's baloney.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Whitney Bonaparte says ex-boyfriend John LaJodas stole her Corvette and abandoned his dogs.
Now, every car has a title.
Correct.
Unless they're stolen.
They're not stolen, Your Honor. I have the titles for them.
Well, then what happened to the titles?
They're misplaced, Your Honor. I don't have them in my possession.
Where are the titles?
What it is he buys cars, he fixes them, and then he resells them. So what it is it's an MV50. You don't register it. What you do is
I don't
the
care.
titles
I don't care
aren't
if you
in your name until after you sell them.
Listen to me. I understand that you don't have to register a car unless you're going to drive it.
Yes.
But there's a title to a car. The title follows the car. If I purchase a car from Officer Byrd, he has a title. I don't have to register the car. I could put it up on blocks and never register it. But you get a title. The only time I can think of that you don't get a title is if you steal it. Byrd, I'm sure that there are other ways to get a car without a title. Salvage title, don't you? What?
The MV50, you don't get a title. What it is in an MV50, once you do all the repairs, you turn it into motor vehicles in New York State, and they issue you a title. After you do all the repairs.
You have to get the car from somebody who owned it.
They just give you a bill of sale, and with the bill of sale, once you do all the repairs, you go to motor vehicles, you bring motor vehicles, the proof that you did all the repairs, and they issue you a title.
How do you know all of that?
Because I was with him for 6 years, and he gave me a Corvette. And I know that I needed my paperwork, and the only way I could get it is for all the repairs to be done, and then for him to give it to me to go to motor vehicles.
Did you spend any money for repairing the Corvette?
The Corvette is still sitting where it was because I couldn't get any keys to it.
Just a second. So the answer is there was never a title to it. He bought it from Craigslist in order
and gave
to
it
get
to me for my birthday.
Okay. What else? I'm finished with your birthday present Corvette.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
You're not allowed to own a car. You're not allowed to drive a car. So you bought a car anyway, and you drove it. And then you parked it at some point. There's a fly that is not going to be living much longer.
real cases.
Bonaparte says ex-boyfriend John LaJodas stole her Corvette and abandoned his dogs.
Now, you want him to take the dogs back?
They're his dogs.
Just a second. Do you want him to take the dogs back?
Yes, they're his.
What kind of dogs are they?
American Bully and King Corsa.
Okay. When are you going to pick them up?
At this point right now, I cannot take care of them.
Well, then, Miss Bonaparte, he cannot take care of the dogs. Do you want to keep the dogs?
I'll keep the dogs as long as he supports the dogs until he's able to get them. His dogs are really attached to him. I'm talking about, like, I have a video of his dog crying to be to him.
He doesn't want them.
He does want them. He doesn't have a place to live, he said, where he can't have them.
So what do you want from me? You're not getting the Corvette. What do you want me to do with the dogs?
When he gets a place to live, he can take them, but he can pay for them.
That's it. I'll prepare an order. I would suggest that you support them. We're done here. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
While he's excused, you may step out.
We'll be friends for life.
She's a good person.
He is a person that took me through a hard time.
We'll try to be friends again, you know?
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Sade versus Hammert. Step forward.
Phyllis Sade is suing her former friend, Shannon Hammert, for selling a car that...
Your case, and then I'm going to tell you what your problem is.
Okay.
You are not permitted by law, you personally are not permitted by law to own a car in your name.
Right.
And that's because, why?
I got pulled over without insurance.
That's not the reason. That's not the reason.
Okay.
That's baloney. It's a lot more than that. Because if you get pulled over without insurance and you don't have insurance, what they do in every state is they say, show me proof of insurance when you come and pay the ticket for not having proof of insurance. If you show them proof of insurance, they either make you pay a fine or not. But you don't lose the right to own a car. Now, you want to start that again with me? You can't own a car in your name because...
The only thing I know is that I didn't have insurance when I got my ticket.
When you got how many tickets?
This was the first one with no insurance. I have priors from 2002.
So you have more than one offense?
Yes.
Okay, whatever. You're not allowed to have a car. So you bought a car anyway, and your friend agreed to put the car in her name and still let you drive.
Yes.
And you drove the car, which I'm telling you, not a smart thing to do. Because now you're liable for anything that happens with that car. You do understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Because even if you have insurance and has an accident, they're going to disclaim because she's not permitted to drive a car. You got it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so that's not pretty smart of you. In any event, you're not allowed to own a car. You're not allowed to drive a car. So you bought a car anyway, and you drove it. And then you parked it at some point. There's a fly that is not going to be living much longer. Hmm? I like this one, actually. I like this one better.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
So then when the car was parked at your house or something, your grandson took the car, allegedly without your permission, got pulled over, and the car was impounded.
Yes.
And since the car was in her name, she was able to get the car out of impound. She had to pay money. How much did you have to pay to get it out?
$161.25.
And then she took the car and sold it.
Yes.
And you want me to help you?
I'd appreciate it.
That's not happening.
So I'm just out the money?
You are.
Okay.
Courts aren't going to help you. If you start out by breaking the law, because there's a valid reason, it's really not important. But if your infractions were such that you not only weren't allowed to own a car, but you weren't allowed to drive a car because you had no license.
Right.
And you did anyway. And what you're asking a court to do is to say, well, despite the fact that you were breaking the law, I'm going to help you. Courts don't do that. Not this court. This court doesn't do that. Now, was it nice of her to sell the car to somebody else? Not really a good friend. But what would have happened if your grandson, instead of getting pulled over, hurt somebody in the car? They would have taken away everything she owned, right?
Right.
So you got what you deserved. We're done.
Parties are excused and then step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
There's nothing I can say.
Well, I'm the happiest person there ever was, probably on Judge Judy.
I put out all this money and she profited off of it.
I told her to come get her car, paid my impound fee, she did it, so she lost.
She took your car.
Yeah.
How did you get her keys?
Lack of communication kills a friendship.
She got angry at me and threw the keys. She said, I'm taking a plane, and that's when she left me there with my suitcases and the keys to her van.
And her message still isn't getting through.
I can hardly understand you.
Am I talking too fast or quiet? Like
both.
I know, I really mentally try to...
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Jessica Baldwin is suing her former friend, Jennifer Russ, for stranding her in another state when she stole her van.
Order. All rise. Yeah, it's case number 87 on the calendar in the matter Baldwin versus Russ.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Miss Baldwin, you and the defendant were friends. According to what I read, you either won or were entitled to a Carnival cruise.
Yes.
From what?
From the elite players group, the casino.
And from that, you won a cruise for 2 people?
Correct.
When was that?
March 26th was the cruise.
And you and Miss Russ were friends?
Correct.
Who invited her along on the cruise? The cruise itself was taken care of, as well as the meals. All she was supposed to take care of were her own incidental expenses. So far, correct? Now, you live in what state?
Missouri.
And you had to pick up the ship in Florida?
Correct.
You and Miss Russ were driving?
Yes.
How long did it take you to get there?
We left Thursday night at 11 p.m.
Share the driving?
Yes.
Whose car did you take?
It was my car.
Is it a van?
Yes, it was.
How many cars do you have?
I have 3 total.
Was this van that you were taken owned by you alone?
It belongs to my husband and I.
I'm asking you those questions because her defense seemed to suggest otherwise.
Okay.
Okay. So you took your van, drove there, you went on the cruise, and during the cruise, you and Miss Russ, according to your complaint, had an argument.
Correct.
Did you share a room?
Yes, we did.
How far into the cruise did you have this argument?
I was on about 4 days in of the 7-day cruise.
How come your husband didn't go with you?
We have 2 toddlers, and I had asked her to celebrate our opening a tattoo shop together.
So 4 days into a 7-day cruise, and then for the last 3 days, you didn't speak?
Correct. Or when we did, we had an argument.
Was it over something silly?
Yes.
Like?
I had approached her with wanting to do a promotion for when we were opening the tattoo shop, and she wasn't happy with that. So she walked off very upset, and every time we talked after that, it was an argument.
Do you still have the tattoo shop?
No.
That was scuttled after the cruise?
Yes.
Anyway, when your cruise was over, according to you, you disembarked the ship and pick it up from there.
I had walked out customs and set my belongings down and waited for a couple days previous.
Explain that to me. She took your keys 2 days earlier.
Correct.
How?
It was hanging around a lanyard on the wall, and I had gone out to actually call my husband because we were fighting, and I was upset. And I came back, noticed the key was gone, approached her the next morning about it, and she told me she took it because she was afraid I would leave her there.
Anyway, you went through customs and?
So I get through customs. She comes out, throws her belongings down, tosses the key at me. I put it around my neck, go to pick up my belongings to go to the shuttle to pick up the vehicle. And as soon as I bent over, she yanked the lanyard back off of my neck and told me, "Hell no, you stupid, you're not leaving me here." And then I walked off because I didn't want to get into a fight in front of customs, and crossed the way to go over to the shuttle, and then she got into a taxi and left.
And she took your van?
Yes.
Forcing you to take a flight home, to do other things, which is what you're suing her for.
Correct.
Go.
She's crazy.
No, just a
I'm
second.
sorry.
Just
okay.
Your version.
All right. Well, you got to start somewhere, though, and that's like kind of setting the tone for like.
Let's go back.
Okay.
Because I can hardly understand.
Okay.
Both.
All right. I can do this.
Both.
Slowly. My best. At least for a few seconds.
First of all, let's start out with the van. You made an allegation that the van doesn't belong to Miss Baldwin.
Correct. And the reason I feel that is as we were discussing how we were going to get to the cruise, my Mustang, the tread wasn't good enough on the tires to take all the way down to Florida. And since she had enough vehicles, she said we could take her van that she's been hiding at her father's house so that the people that own it, the title to the vehicle, can't find it, so it won't get repossessed. And so she had been hiding it there at the time.
So she was hiding a van at her father's house that she wanted to take. You indicated in your answer that what Miss Baldwin did was let you put the van on your insurance.
Correct.
Did you do that?
She did it while I was driving, and we were able to do it.
She put the van on your insurance?
Correct.
What's the name of your insurance company?
Safe Auto. I have like showing that her van isn't under my name and that I am the owner and that I don't owe the previous owner any money for it. So that's why I felt safe driving it.
I'd like to see what you have.
Here's the... Oh, careful not to scroll too far.
Baldwin, can you tell me why this van is insured by her insurance company?
I don't know, because I had insurance through Geico.
Now, what's the name of the company that holds the lien on the car?
It's CPS, Consumer Portfolio Services.
If I were to have you call CPS, which is an easy thing to do, would they tell me that in March of 2018 you were behind in payments?
Yes.
How many months would they say in March of 2018 were you behind in payments?
Like 3 months. We were pretty behind at that point.
So that makes me believe that I believe her. Do you understand?
I do.
Okay. So you were hiding the car at your father's house because they were going to repossess the car. Have they since repossessed the car?
No, and we were...
Just a second now. It's been 2 months since the trip. Have you made up all of the payments on the car?
No, I'm still working on it.
The answer is no. And how many months do you still owe on the car?
About 4.
Could be 5.
Could be.
So it could be that you haven't made any payments on the car since you were on the cruise.
Right. I've been out of work.
I'm just letting you know, Miss Baldwin, that they're entitled to their van back.
And it's parked at my home.
Well, it wasn't parked at your home in March.
Correct. We were
just a second. It wasn't parked at your home in March.
No, it was not.
Yeah. You were hiding it. You shouldn't have been using that van because you knew that the rightful owner of the car was trying to take it back for non-payment on the payments. Whatever it is, if you have 3 cars and if you can't afford a 3rd car, then you let one go. Okay. Now let's get back to your story. So now I know where we're at. Go ahead. So you went on the cruise.
Correct.
You put the car under your insurance.
Correct.
Went on the cruise and you had an argument with her.
Correct.
Now I want you to tell me what happened when you got off the cruise.
Okay. When I got off the cruise,
the 2 of you.
We had stepped onto land and we had our suitcases. We hadn't spoken at this point. The only time that we had spoken is whenever that morning I had sent her, when we woke up, I asked her what time we were departing. She told me we could either depart at 7 or at 9, depending on whether they want to take our luggage or not. I said, well, I think that it would be a good idea to leave at 7 because it's Easter Sunday and I wanted to be at home for my children. And she, so I did wake her up and let her know that I think it would be a good idea to leave at 7. So whenever I got down to the level of the boat where it was time to debark, I sent her a message and let her know what level I was on. And so at this point, she had been accusing me that I was trying to leave the ship without letting her know. She was saying that I had her van keys at the time and that I had...
What were you doing with her van keys? Be very careful.
Okay.
At that moment, did you have her van keys?
No. In a concern. Whenever we got off the ship, whenever she was still angry.
How did you get her keys?
She threw them at me when we got off the ship. I have no idea, like, what you're looking for here.
Explain that.
She got angry at me and threw the keys. She said, I'm taking a plane, and that's when she got in the taxi and left me there with my suitcases and the keys to her van. And I tried corresponding with her from that point on, and she wasn't corresponding at all. I let her know when I made it to the van. I didn't know where the van was. I had to find it.
You have those texts?
I do, yes.
I'd like to see them.
You have my phone.
Oh. Right. So I do.
Which text are you looking for? I'm so sorry. There's a lot of stuff
pulled up right here.
She has it. Maybe we shouldn't. She probably might have edited it. She impersonated a police officer at one point, and so I don't know if I would trust her evidence. Sorry. Actually, if I may, I just remembered what you wanted. I don't know why she would be so willing to offer her evidence.
I can't understand a word that you're saying.
Is it fast still? I know, I really mentally try to slow myself down, but it doesn't happen because it goes so fast. I have evidence that you're looking for. And I don't know why she would supply hers when it's incriminating her.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
It appears through these texts that it got a little handsy with each other.
I'm sorry, it did not get handsy. That word is actually stressing me out and irritating me as a term, handsy.
And later today,
I don't believe that she agreed to call it even with the U-Haul rental for a day and Josh. I actually believe her that you wanted to help so that he and his brother could move into the house. So I don't believe you.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jessica Baldwin says former friend Jennifer Russ stole her van, leaving her stranded in another state.
Okay, I read all of the communication between the two of you. Not everything is a court case. You and your girlfriend went on a cruise. You took one car. There was clearly an argument. There was an exchange. I don't feel safe about driving home in a car with you for 20 hours. It appears through these texts that it got a little handsy with each other.
Yes.
Which is unfortunate.
I'm sorry, it did not get handsy. That word is actually stressing me out and irritating me as that term. Not that you provided the term, but that she did, and I've been dealing with that word for 2 months. Handsy.
She took the car home. She had to get the car out of the parking lot.
She did. She paid the parking.
She had to pay the parking. She had to pay for whatever gas it was. You took a plane home. Your case is dismissed. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She's just crazy.
I know I am. A little bit, you know.
She left me stranded in Miami.
Like, that's what she did to me. And so I like how she turned the tables on that.
Not go in league with people who need to be on heavy medication.
I really thought that she was a good person, and you really don't know anybody.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Johnson versus DeLong. Step forward.
Brittany Johnson is suing her former friend, Angel DeLong, for the value of a sectional couch and patio furniture, as well as punitive damages.
Ms. Johnson, there are two parts of your lawsuit. One part of your lawsuit is that your friend, Ms. DeLong, bought some used furniture from you. You were moving into your mother's house.
Correct.
Is that right? You were
Correct.
selling your house. You sold her a couch and some other stuff that she didn't finish paying for. With regard to that, she acknowledges that she didn't finish paying for it, but she says that she helped you move. She got a truck and a U-Haul, and her boyfriend helped you move. So you told her to forget about it. You were even. And there's a second part of your suit. Who is this? Josh. That's what I figured. Stand up. Second part of your lawsuit, in with your mother, and you rented the house.
Correct.
To Josh over here, who is the boyfriend of the defendant.
Correct.
You don't live with him.
No.
And you rent Miss Johnson's house.
Yes.
Do you pay rent
I do.
every month?
Yes.
He did not pay for June, ma'am.
She gave me an eviction notice on May 18th.
Okay.
So, no, I didn't pay.
Okay. And when are you leaving?
I'm looking for a place now. It's hard to move in a month.
Did you pay rent in May?
Yeah.
So
I
why
paid on
did-
the 5th.
So why did you evict him?
Because they were actually smoking in the home, and the agreement was that, I was actually planning on selling my home.
Okay, I got it. All right, I don't want to know. Listen to me. Josh.
Yes.
You have to pay rent if you live someplace. It's like going in to buy and ordering a tuna fish sandwich, eating it and say, I didn't like it because it had mayonnaise.
I was current until she gave me the eviction notice.
I know, but she gave you an eviction notice for a reason.
And I'm looking for a place now. I don't want to rent her house anymore.
Great, good. Sit down. I'm not dealing with this. That has nothing to do, as far as I'm concerned, with her. The only thing I'm entertaining is the furniture. Okay, you bought the furniture for how much money?
We agreed on $800 in January.
Okay, and what did you purchase? A couch?
It was a sectional.
Okay, and what else?
That was it, just a sectional.
And how much did you give her?
I didn't give her anything.
And you took possession?
We agreed that if I helped her move, I paid for the U-Haul, got my brother's truck, as well as got help from Josh to move her, that we would call it even with the couch.
Okay. So how many days was the U-Haul rented for?
I rented the U-Haul for 1 day.
How much was it?
$54.74.
Which I gave her money back for that, Your Honor.
Did you?
I did. Yeah, the agreement was, because I actually had to work until 7, and the U-Haul place actually closes at 6. So the agreement was for her to rent the U-Haul, and then I would just give her the money, when we came back. And she actually offered to help me move, to help Josh move in faster, because his previous living situation had changed, and he actually had to be out.
How did it change?
Because the landlord at his previous home was not paying the mortgage, so it was going under foreclosure, and she actually got the water turned off. So they were living with no water.
Who's the they?
Him and his brother.
Not true. That's not true. We had water. I don't know what she's talking about.
Well, Angel told me they didn't have water. So.
Stand.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Ma'am, that's not my text messages. Like, I can put your phone number in my phone and put Angel's name as a contact
She didn't write
and have you send messages.
Listen to me. I know that you can do that, but this came from you.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Brittany Johnson says former friend Angel DeLong stopped paying on furniture she was buying from her. Brittany also claims Angel damaged some of it.
Now, on what date did you move into the plaintiff's house?
April 1st, I want to say.
And what happened to the house that you and your brother were living in?
Like she said, the landlord, she just wasn't paying the bills, and it went under foreclosure.
Good. You owe her for the couch, $800.
We agreed on $1,500, ma'am.
Show me.
I have text messages as well with $800.
Well, take a look. Get them.
They're not for me. You can look at my phone. They're not for me. I would not sell that furniture. It's very nice furniture, Your Honor.
Miss Johnson, just show me the agreement. She says $800. You say almost double that. Okay, so Mr. Long, let me tell you this. I don't believe that she agreed to call it even with the U-Haul rental for a day and Josh. I actually believe her that she gave you back the money for the U-Haul, and I believe her when she says that you wanted to help, and Josh wanted to help her move out quickly so that he and his brother could move into the house as quickly as possible. So I don't believe you. Now, starting with the fact that I have determined that I don't believe you, that you didn't give me a truthful answer, I want you to make sure that what I'm going to look at here says that she agreed to sell you.
Yes.
Great. Okay, now I got it. So it was sort of halfway in between. You originally wanted $1,500 for the couch. And then you agreed to take $8.
No, that did not come from my phone.
And then you had a kerfuffle, probably because of Josh, and you said to her, you want to turn into a phony, nasty name. I'll show you two can play that game. I want $1,500 for my couch like I had originally wanted, and Josh can get out of my house. I did this as a favor for you, and now him and his brother.
Ma'am, that did not come from my phone. The evidence that I showed you, that was just a couple. That was a couple.
That came from your phone.
Ma'am, so she could have put any number on there. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, just because it says Brittany doesn't mean that's not my number. I've never mentioned $800. The evidence that I showed you with the agreement that was actually just a couple weeks ago.
Listen to me. I said you came up with a different figure that had to do with something else, whether it was carpet or something else, but you had an original figure. Oh, yeah, you did.
Judge Judy continues. Cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay.
Ma'am, that's not my text messages. Like, I can put your phone number in my phone and put Angel's name as a contact
She didn't write
and have you send messages.
Listen to me. I know that you can do that, but this came from you.
It did not come from me.
Who else moved you?
It was me, Angel, my mom, and then one of my uncle's girlfriends.
What about him?
He actually helped Angel move the furniture over to her house. He's never moved anything over to my mom's.
I rented the U-Haul at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. She didn't get off till 7. Me and him loaded that U-Haul from 3 o'clock in the afternoon until 7 when she came home.
He did not help move anything over to my home.
Okay. You have your patio furniture
Yes, I actually did get that back. So basically, the whole...
No, basically, I just asked you a question. Do you have the patio furniture
Yes.
back? Okay. And you don't want, listen to me carefully, and you don't want the sofa back because you say she let her dog sit on it.
Right, which
Good.
I have.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $800. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused and they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I think it was fair.
I don't think it was fair.
It was the $800 that we agreed upon.
We agreed on $1,500.
Drama.
It all started out of jealousy. Her boyfriend was texting me about the house, and she made it very clear that she didn't want him to text me.
There is no friendship.
Pick your friends.
When we met, they were not together.
Yeah, cutting, Your Honor. I don't want to hear from you.
A jealous ex driven to rage?
She rammed the back of your car twice, according to you.
Now she better proceed with caution.
During the same incident, Miss McKinney kicked your car.
The driver's side door. Your Honor, that's not true.
You want to say something to her?
Don't interrupt the judge.
Perfect.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
22-year-old Brianna Williams and her father, Lewis, are suing the ex-girlfriend of Brianna's boyfriend, Fantasia McKinney, for damaging her car when she kicked it, harassment, and emotional distress.
Order. All rise.
Case number 146 on the calendar in the matter Williams versus McKinney.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Gentlemen, have a seat.
Your last name is Williams?
Yes, yes.
You are her?
Dad, her father.
And the car is in your name?
Yes, ma'am.
But you weren't present that day?
No, sir. No, ma'am.
Okay, so I don't actually... Is this the boyfriend?
Yes, this is my boyfriend, Jeffrey.
Okay, Jeffrey, I'm going to ask you to stand up next to Miss Williams. This used to be your girlfriend?
Yes.
And you have 2 children together?
Yes.
And you are her?
Father.
You're no longer a couple. How old are the children that you have together?
My son, he's 5 years old, and my daughter, she's 4 years old.
Did you and Miss McKinney ever live together?
Yes.
Until when?
Until, I would say, 2016, like earlier that year, just for like a month.
You lived together for a month, or you lived together?
Yes, just lived together for a month in 2016.
Your Honor, that's
Yes.
not true. He was staying with me for like months at a time, off and on.
Off and on is not a family. Off and on is sort of ridiculous.
As well, he was staying with my family, with me and my parents before I was in my own residence. So he was there like for about
Not like.
6.
He wasn't there like anything.
He was there for 6 months.
And then?
And then we moved to my residence, and he was there with me for a year and a half. And then
full-time?
Full-time, ma'am.
Full-time. From when to when?
I moved back from Lafayette, Indiana in June of 2015.
Just a second. You went to Indiana from where?
I was like June
Not like.
of 20. I'm sorry.
I'm living with my family.
I was living with my family from June of 2014, and then I moved to Lafayette, Indiana.
Who lives in Lafayette, Indiana?
I had my own residence there.
And where was he living?
He moved with me.
To Indiana?
Yes, from my
Is that right?
No, that is not true. I resided as well in my own apartment in West Lafayette.
Ma'am, that's not true.
You had your own apartment there?
Yes, in West Lafayette.
Why would you move to Lafayette?
I actually went to Ivy Tech Community College in Lafayette, Indiana.
So you went to school there?
Yes.
Why did you move?
Can I?
Why did you move there?
I was pregnant with our first child, our son, Jeffrey Jr., and I got a place out there.
Well, I mean, why did you move?
I
Did
moved
you move
because I wanted to get my own place and get out of my parents' house.
How far was it from your parents' house to Lafayette, Indiana?
It was an hour-and-a-half drive.
Well, that's a long... Getting your own place is one thing. Getting your own place because he's going to school there is something else.
Ma'am, that's not true. He was not physically going to Ivy Tech in Lafayette, Indiana. He was going online, doing online courses.
Just a second. So why did you move to Lafayette, Indiana, is my question.
On feet and
Well,
get out
what
of my
did you do
parents'
there?
house. I got a job there, and I became an assistant teacher at a daycare center.
For how long did you work there?
I was there for a year up until I moved back this way to come closer to my family in June of 2015.
Well, then, while you were there in Indiana, you had a second child.
Right, that's where our daughter was conceived.
Just a second. So you had a second child?
Yes, Janila.
And then you wanted to move back to your family?
Yeah, I wanted to be closer to have support.
Did you move back with her to where? Is your family?
To my parents' residence.
To what?
Maryville.
Where?
To Maryville, Indiana, I'm sorry.
Did you move back?
No.
You stayed in Lafayette?
Yes.
That is not true, Your Honor.
I don't want you to interrupt.
I'm sorry.
Did you stay in Lafayette when she moved close to her parents?
Months later, I moved in with her for like a month, and then I returned back.
Months later, you moved from where to where?
From Lafayette, Indiana to Maryville, Indiana.
So you moved back to Maryville.
Yes.
So you were sort of moving along with her and your two children. Don't try to think of where I'm going. You'll never be smart enough, actually.
Oh, no, I'm not thinking that at all. I'm not thinking that at all.
So just try to be honest. Don't think about what you told her. Don't think about what you told her father. Don't think about anything. To my question, so you moved back to Maryville. Was she your girlfriend then?
No.
When did she become your girlfriend? Month and year?
Month and year.
And say it without a like.
She became my girlfriend September 2016.
That would be shortly after you moved back.
Yes.
And when she became your girlfriend, tell me where you met her.
Where I met her?
Yes, where... Don't repeat my question. Where did you meet her? That's English.
I met her with her brother.
Where?
At a school.
What school?
Me and her brother went to Indiana State University together.
Her brother and I went to Indiana State University together.
Yes.
That's what you meant to say?
Yes.
So you met her through her brother?
Yes.
In September when you started school there?
Well, I met her years prior to that, but around that time when we became together.
You met her years prior. In what year prior?
2013. January 2013.
Where did you meet her in January of 2013?
In her home.
Was that because you were friends with her brother?
Yes.
And how old are you now?
I'm 22 years old, Your Honor.
So you were a kid then?
Yeah.
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 So you were 17. And how old are you?
27.
Okay. But then you sort of reconnected in 2016.
I was actually at my mother's house.
Now, Miss McKinney, in September of 2016, where were you living?
I was living where I stay now in Maryville, Indiana, at my own residence.
And where was he living in September of 2016?
Your Honor,
I know who I am. Where was he living?
He
was
been...
living with you, or he wasn't living with you?
He was there at a point, and then he went back to his mom's house. He's been back and forth over the years, so it's not really a set time.
Miss McKinney.
I'm sorry.
Where was he living in September of 2016? At your house or his mother's house? That's a question that requires a direct answer. And if you don't remember, just say, I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Good. So you were living at your mother's house when you met her?
Yes.
And then you became a couple?
Yes.
Now, this is what this case is about.
Your Honor?
What?
Not to interrupt you, but me and Jeffrey have had a
Jeffrey and?
Oh, Jeffrey and I have had an ongoing relationship since 2013, that year.
Well, Miss Williams, that would be foolish of you, because since 2013, he's made 2 children with the defendant. And Jeffrey's very fast. He goes to Indiana State University. So actually, you don't want to tell me that you had an ongoing on and off relationship with him since 2013, because he and the defendant were clearly involved in a relationship that you should have known about.
Yes, but when we met, they were not together.
In
2013.
I don't want to hear from you. In 2013?
Yes, when we first met in January of 2013. He had a son already, the first child.
Yes, but the second one wasn't born yet.
Right, but she was not pregnant in January of 2013.
That make it even worse.
Is your daughter a little bit stupid?
I think so sometime.
That's all. And he's not a prize.
No.
You don't have to shout out.
Mm-hmm.
I got it.
Mm-hmm.
You had an altercation recently. You're no longer together. You and this gentleman and Jeffrey are no longer together, and you haven't been together in a long time.
Correct.
You have 2 children. This incident happened on what date?
It was in October of 2016.
And so what are you doing here almost 2 years later?
I went to a student. I ran track and field there. I came home, actually.
I want to know where you've been for 2 years. If what you're alleging is there was an accident.
Yes.
Just a second. It wasn't really an accident. It was on purpose. You were picking up Jeffrey. You were in your car that your father owns, and the defendant rear-ended your car. Now, her insurance paid for that, right?
Correct.
Because you rear-ended her car. You say, I was excited. I saw her, and then I saw him, and she was picking him up from school, and whatever. I was excited, and I went to go this way, and I put my foot on the gas, and I hit the accelerator, and I accidentally rear-ended her. But your car was fixed by her insurance 2 years ago, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
But you claim at the same time, during the same incident, Miss McKinney kicked your car.
Yes, the driver's side door.
Your Honor, that's not true.
You want to say something to her?
Don't interrupt the judge.
Perfect. Now, it is possible that the insurance company, while they paid for the fact that your car was rear-ended by her, said that if there was damage on the report to the driver's side door, said, well, that was a criminal act of vandalism, and we're not going to cover her criminal act. But my question is, why did you wait 2 years to sue her?
Well, I'm a student. I have a lot of things going on, and she also had a pending case in reference to this case in terms of her the restitution and so a few details.
Just a second.
Yes.
You had a pending criminal case for vandalism? Is my question for something? You had a pending criminal case. Miss McKinney, don't look confused. Your father's going to be annoyed.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Were you arrested for this incident?
Yes.
Did you plead guilty to resolve that case?
No.
They don't put you on probation unless you're found guilty.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Brianna Williams says her boyfriend's ex-girlfriend, Fantasia McKinney, kicked her car during a fight.
Now, did you have a pending criminal case?
I don't know. Like, I had a case prior to that.
Did you go to court about this incident that happened in October of 2016?
No.
Like, no.
What were you in court about?
Well, this particular case for the accident, it did cause probationary period.
With you, I don't know about your father. I've been a judge for 38 years.
At least.
I know about the court system. Were you arrested for this incident? That's either a yes or a no.
Yes.
Did you plead guilty to resolve that case? That's either a yes or a no.
No.
Were you found guilty? That's either a yes or a no.
No.
What did they put you on probation for?
It was for criminal recklessness, Your Honor.
Criminal recklessness involving what date?
October 24th, 2000.
That's this case.
Yes.
They don't put you on probation unless you're found guilty.
Well, it was an incident, Your Honor, and at the time...
That's not an incident. There's no such thing in the penal law. You're either found guilty or you plead guilty in order to resolve it, and you're placed on probation with restitution.
Well, it was an accident.
You're not placed on probation for an accident. Courts don't place people on probation for an accident. They may suspend your driver's license. They may say you're on a probationary period for your driver's license. You're not placed on probation by a court unless you plead guilty or found guilty. Probation is a disposition of the court, like jail. You get either jail or probation. Probation sometimes is coupled with restitution. Either a yes or a no.
Yes.
How much?
It was $120, Your Honor.
Did you pay it?
Yes.
Show the paper.
I have the,
Show me proof that you paid the restitution.
And the bottom one. And the bottom one.
And I have, as well, to add with that, Your Honor, I have the records to show that I don't have any pending criminal.
I don't care whether you have any pending criminal, whatever. You're not ordered to pay restitution and placed on probation unless you either plead guilty or are found guilty. This wasn't restitution. This was court costs.
That was for that case, Your Honor.
It was court costs. It's not restitution. Criminal recklessness. And this was a plea. You pled guilty to criminal recklessness. Plea agreement. That's what that says. Plea agreement. You signed it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was confused, Your Honor. I was just stating that I didn't plead guilty to...
I'm not confused. Your father's not confused. You signed it. The judge signed it. You pled guilty.
Well, in my understanding, I was saying I wasn't guilty to intentionally causing the accident.
Miss McKinney, then you're very, very confused. And your father will talk to you later, because I don't have time to give you a lesson in common sense.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Do you see your children, sir? It's not an answer.
Me and my lawyers are in progress of going to court.
You still going to Indiana State University?
I go to North Park University in Chicago.
Take English.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Brianna Williams claims her boyfriend's ex-girlfriend, Fantasia McKinney, kicked her car during a fight.
Now, you had a lawyer?
Yes, I did.
Yes, of course you did. You spoke to your lawyer. Judge allocated you, told you that you had the right to have a trial. They would have to prove this beyond a reasonable doubt. You took a plea. You paid $120 in court costs, and you were released on bond, and you got 6 months deferred sentence on proof of insurance. Her insurance paid for the damage to the back of your car?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me see the pictures of the car door.
The top of it, the dent.
Let me see the police report, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Williams, you didn't tell the police that she kicked the driver's side of your door. You said she hit the window and was yelling as she hit the window, "Get out of the car," and then she called you a name. You didn't tell the police that she damaged the door. I'm reading the narrative.
Yes, but I didn't actually tell the police, and either, you know?
Then what you do is you bring the case within a 2-year period. This is the freshest time in your mind.
Yes.
Immediately after the incident, you carefully described exactly what she did. She rammed the back of your car twice. Yes. You said to the police she hit the glass part of your door and yelled at you to get out of the car. She called you a name. Never once in your narrative. And there was no damage to the window, so why would you say, she told me to get out of the car, and then she kicked the car door, causing damage to my car door? That should be in here. That's why you bring a case immediately. Do you see your children, sir?
No,
it's not an answer. No. You don't. Is there a reason that you don't see your children?
Me and my lawyers are in progress of going to court.
My lawyer and I are in the...
My lawyer and I are in progress.
You still going to Indiana State University?
I go to North Park University in Chicago.
Take English. A couple of English courses.
Yeah.
You're 27 years old?
Yes.
Do you work?
I'm a college student working to make a living.
So my next question to you is, how much support do you pay for your children?
None.
None.
Did I hear anything from you?
Sorry, Judge.
Who's supposed to support your children?
Me and my lawyers are in progress just due to the...
Take English.
I am in progress of doing that to make sure.
I am in the process of...
I am in the process of doing that right now.
You have 2 children. You don't want your girlfriend to support your children, do you?
No, not at all.
What?
I graduate in December to make sure of that.
Well, it's a good thing that they weren't on meat hooks, you know, in some freezer between the time you decided to graduate from college and now, without at least contributing to their support. If you make children, you have to support them.
Yes.
Yes, good.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
What?
I did many times to try to settle any type of way to pay Fantasia, but she was not reasonable in any type of way of wanting to accept anything from me.
Well, Miss McKinney is angry. She better get unangry. You made 2 children with him. It's not their fault that it didn't work out. You made one and he didn't marry you, so you made another one. Not smart. And if now your father has the burden of supporting your 2 children, are you living with him?
No, Your Honor.
Who do you live with?
I live on my own.
And how do you support your children?
By working.
Who takes care of them?
Myself alone.
Well, how can you take care of them when you're working?
They go to daycare, ma'am.
What kind of work do you do?
An assistant teacher at a daycare.
The children go to the same daycare?
Yes.
Can they step out?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I respect Judge Judy, but I didn't agree with the decision.
I did not vandalize her property at all.
I suffered a lot of verbal abuse from Miss McKinney.
I'm left being a single mother to 2 children. I didn't ask for this.
People to honor the law and not disobey the law and try to hurt others.
It's just time to move forward.
A hot real estate market was tempting.
You wanted to go into the house flipping business.
Yes, I did.
You find houses to be flipped.
Yeah.
But the only thing building was the confusion.
You gave him $5,000 for what?
To purchase the house.
He basically bought rights from me to buy this house.
It wasn't supposed to be like that.
I have to tell you, it all sounds a little shady to me.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Alex Coley is suing Vlad Fedorov for the return of a deposit to buy a home.
Order. All rise. It's case number 1.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. Coley, this is some sort of a real estate deal. I'm not exactly sure if I follow the whole thing, but you wanted to go into the house flipping business.
Yes, I did.
And I don't know what you do. You find houses to be flipped? Is that what you do?
I'm trying to buy houses for myself, invest money in the houses, or I'm able to assign houses that I found to somebody else.
That's exactly what I said. You find houses to be flipped.
Yeah.
And when you find a house to be flipped, you sign a contract with them?
Yeah.
With the seller, or whoever has the title, whether it be the bank or anyone else. I don't know how you know each other. You want to tell me how you know each other?
I met the defendant through someone else that was like a broker. And so I met him on April this year, and he was selling houses.
I have to tell you, it all sounds a little shady to me.
Yes, it does.
I met him through somebody else. And you entered into a contract with him.
Yes, he said he had a house
said he had a house
that he's selling.
Good. And you
so,
entered into a contract with him.
Yes, with another partner.
I'd like to see the contract. Now we have a contract. That usually makes my life easy.
Yeah.
Who prepared this agreement?
My attorney.
I'm just asking you because number 3, which is prominent, says the purchase price is $75,000 payable by cash, a good check, or money order to the escrow. I've never seen the word good check in something. It just, as opposed to a bad check. It's funny there. It's odd. A good check.
Probably it means cashier's check.
Purchaser shall deposit in escrow as earnest money, 0. Who's Skyline Property Solutions?
It's my company.
Who's Wesley somebody? I can't read. Trustee.
That was my partner.
Your partner?
Yeah, that we were getting into the deal with to buy the house from him.
Okay, so you and your partner agreed to buy this house and bought his right to sell the house and gave him $10,000.
It wasn't supposed to be like that. What it is was we were just buying the house from him and we had to put the down payment. So the down payment was the $5,000 that I wrote a check to him. And then he was going to get a $5,000 from my part.
Tell me where you signed this contract. I don't see anywhere where...
Right here. So, and then the $5,000 is there, and I have the payments that I wrote him a check for.
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Just first show me where his signature is.
Right next to the 5,000.
There's no contract. Your name isn't on this contract. Did you sign this anywhere? It doesn't say anything. Somebody agrees to buy something. Vincent. Who is who?
Vincent is the owner of the house.
You're in way over your head. Anyway, you gave him $5,000 for what? Because this means absolutely nothing to me. You gave him $5,000 for what?
To purchase the house with my partner.
Okay. When were you supposed to close?
In 30 days, and then in 20 days we canceled.
Just a second. You gave him the $5,000 when?
On April 21st, and he cashed it.
21?
Yes, April 21st.
You agreed that you were given $5,000 as earnest money on April 21st of this year.
Yeah, I agree.
And you agreed to close property that you didn't own. Just a second. You agreed to close property with him.
Not this way. I agreed with the owner that I wanted to buy the property within 30 days, or I had the right to assign it, basically sell the contract. That's what I did to him. He bought the contract from me for $10,000. $5K been paid at the moment of signing of that assignment agreement, and another $5K from escrow. That's where it's supposed to come from at the day of closing. So he basically bought rights from me to buy this house.
So he bought rights from you to buy your rights and gave you $5,000.
Right.
Now, 20 days later, tell me what happened.
20 days later, he said they have somebody else buying the house. The deal wasn't going quick enough for me and my partner. And so you can get out and we'll get somebody in and give you your $5,000 back.
So you could get out and get somebody else in?
Yes, get out of the contract. And then he'll get somebody else in to buy the house. So then I'll be out and he'll give me the $5,000 because the funding was taking too long. And so...
Oh, you mean your funding was taking too long?
Yes.
But on what date was that? You must have some emails back and forth.
It was 20 days later that we canceled the contract.
Show me. All you have to do is show me. Don't give me a whole lot of paper. Show me the date where he said to you, it's taken. Show it to me.
So this was on 5/9/2018, where
I don't know what you're showing me, sir. I want to see proof that he told you that your deal wasn't going fast enough and he was going to sell the deal to somebody else.
So that was the paperwork that I received, but we did talk on the phone over that, over the fact that we weren't getting funding fast enough, and there was somebody else that was coming in to buy the house. And so they told me they're going to get somebody else to come buy the house, and so that way they can...
I'm going to make this very easy, because this is all...
And he doesn't
too
even
much
have a
of
real estate
Just a second.
license.
Don't tell me he doesn't have a real estate license. If you wanted somebody with a real estate license, you wouldn't ask your buddy to hook you up with somebody. That smells from a scam. Now, was this house sold?
No.
Does Mr. Vincent still own the house?
Yes.
Is it currently on the market?
No.
When was it taken off the market? What month?
It must be May somewhere.
Just a second. Think before you answer. When was it taken off the market?
Officially, it's never been on the market. I found...
Just a second. Officially?
It
never been on the market?
Never.
Does Mr. Vincent...
Self only.
How big is the house?
1,300 square feet.
And what kind of work did you do for Mr. Vincent?
Okay. I advertised my business in Spokane, and he called me. He found me, actually, and he wanted me to buy his house.
He wanted you to buy what month and year?
April 2018.
2018. You're a scam artist. He gets his money back. You're a scam artist, probably with Mr. Vincent. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I knew he was kind of like that. He was a scammy kind of guy.
The person contacted me, and the house officially never been on the market.
When he asked me for cash in the beginning,
we agreed that I will buy the house or I will assign the house.
And I couldn't see the house in the market, and we didn't buy it. That was kind of a red flag for me.
I don't think I'm guilty. I don't see I'm doing anything wrong, actually.
I'm not gonna do this kind of deals anymore.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Gibson versus Abramson. Step forward.
Catherine Gibson is suing Harold Abramson for damages after his dog mauled her.
Miss Gibson, you were mauled by what date did this happen?
May 5th, 2018.
And it happened on the property that belongs to a friend of yours.
Yes,
Who is that?
Her name is Cindy Weaver.
And Mr. Abrahamson, you live on Miss Weaver's property. You're the handyman?
Used to be. Yes, ma'am. I actually built the house.
Were you on May 5th, her
Yes,
handyman?
Not a handyman. I was living on the property, though.
What were you doing there?
There's a residence in the back of the property that I live in.
You rent?
Yes, ma'am.
So you were a renter. How much rent were you paying her?
$400 a month.
How long had you lived there?
5 years.
When did you move out?
I haven't yet. I still live on the property.
And where is Miss Weaver?
She's in the main house.
Other than renting the property, do you do any work there?
Occasionally, yes, small stuff, not really handyman stuff, helping out.
Does she pay you for that?
She doesn't give me cash for it, no, ma'am.
Fine, so you are purely a renter?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You pay her $400 a month to live in your house.
Yes.
That's where your dogs have to be.
Well.
In your house. We're supposed to keep them in control so that somebody doesn't get almost mauled to death.
And later today,
She doesn't have to pay for your child support, right? You would say it's not right for Miss Raines, who you were dating, to child support. But that wouldn't be fair, right?
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Catherine Gibson is suing Harold Abramson for damages after his dog mauled her.
Now, other than renting the property, do you do any work there?
Occasionally, yes, small stuff, not really handyman stuff, helping out.
Does she pay you for that?
She doesn't give me cash for it, no, ma'am.
Fine, so you are purely a renter.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How many dogs do you have?
3.
What kind?
The dog in question is a pit bull Rottweiler mix.
And the other 2 dogs?
The other one is a...
Sit up. All the way up. I can hardly tell. Your pants are falling down, so I can hardly tell whether you're sitting or standing.
The female is a blue pit bull, blue Great Dane mix, 50-50. And then they have a child together, it's about 6 months old.
Now, on May 5th, one or more of your dogs attacked Miss Gibson.
Yes, ma'am.
If you're a renter and you have pit bulls or Rottweilers, you should have renter's insurance. If they'll give you renter's insurance, you're responsible for her injuries. Your dogs were roaming free. They weren't under your control. End of story. You're a renter. She was visiting and bite people. That's a simple rule. You have 3 big dogs. They're supposed to be under your control.
Ma'am?
What?
I feel like they were under my control. They're on the property. This is a fenced property.
No, listen to me.
I wasn't aware if this woman was visiting.
Who cares what you were aware of? Is what you're telling me the house that you live in is fenced. Your little house is fenced. Is that what you're telling me?
There is a fenced in back, but that's not where they were.
That's, of course, because she didn't go into your property. You're a renter.
It's one piece of property.
No, sir. You're a renter. You're not a handyman. That's what you just told me. You're strictly a renter. You don't have the house back there because the house is under your control because you're taking care of it. You pay her $400 a month to live in your house.
Yes.
That's where your dogs have to be.
Well,
in your house.
Your Honor.
And if they're outside of your house, they have to be under your control.
Your Honor.
On Cindy Weaver's property is not in your control.
Your Honor.
What?
Cindy Weaver was aware that these animals
Don't tell me what
roamed
just
this
listen
4-acre parcel.
Just pay careful attention to me.
Yes, ma'am.
You can't tell me what Cindy Weaver would mind of another person.
Yes, ma'am.
That is impermissible in a court of law.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm telling you, you have 3 big dogs.
Okay.
They're
What about a
supposed
conversation?
We're supposed to keep them in control so that somebody doesn't get almost mauled to death.
Right.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
What else do you think he owes you for?
Your Honor, after he got out of jail, we went on a trip.
I don't care about your trip with him. Did you sleep with him on the trip?
I did.
I don't care.
But
what's next?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Katherine Gibson is suing Harold Abramson for damages after his dog mauled her.
Now, you have photographs of your injuries?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see them. Show these to the defendant, please. I have conversations, Mr. Abraham, sexually vicious dogs. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. We're done.
Thank you. Parties are excused. You may step out.
I was blindsided by his dog.
I gotta say, I feel very bad for the lady because of her injuries.
Attacked me on my left side.
But I didn't ask my dog to attack this lady.
Knocked me down on the driveway.
I'm very sorry it all happened, Eddie, but there's nothing I can do. Like I said,
Went through my throat.
I didn't teach my dog to bite people.
I put my arm up, saved my life.
I didn't ask him to go bite this lady.
I'm still living it.
And let's be honest, it is more than a bite.
I can't sleep.
I feel like he had been provoked in some way.
And depression and PTSD.
Because it's not typical for him to act like that.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Raines versus Roberts, step forward.
Natasha Raines is suing her ex-boyfriend, Kenny Roberts, for bail, jail expenses, hotel costs, and rent.
Miss Raines, tell me from when to when Mr. Roberts was your boyfriend?
Me and Mr. Roberts started talking. And
Mr. Roberts and I started talking.
Mr. Roberts and I started talking October of 2016, Your Honor.
And when did you stop talking?
We stopped talking at 17.
Now, between October of 2016 and September of 2017, you say he owes you money. Tell me for what specifically?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, between October of 2016 and September of 2017, you say he owes you money. Tell me for what specifically?
Mr. Roberts owes me money for posting his bail.
Now, let's start with that because it's the only actual thing that I'm interested in. Bail. Now, Mr. Roberts, you were arrested and your bail was fixed, and it was for back child support.
Well, it was the old back pay warrant from 2013 that was supposed to have been thrown out.
From child support?
Yeah, child support.
How many children were you supposed to be supporting?
1.
How old is that child?
13.
What was the amount you were supposed to pay each week?
At the time, it was $281.
Per week?
Every 2 weeks.
And how much did you owe?
I don't owe anything now. That was back in 2013. That's when
But when you were arrested in 2017.
Yeah.
What were you arrested for?
I guess the courts didn't properly dismiss the case.
Which was your bail?
$720 or something like that.
How much was his bail?
$760.
Now, did that bail go towards paying your back child support?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
$760 went to pay your back child support.
Yes.
So that satisfied your child support obligation. Did it or not?
Yes, it did.
Okay. She doesn't have to pay for your child support, right?
Yes. But
so you would say that's your responsibility?
Yeah, but I didn't know. I didn't know that was the case that they was going to do that. Otherwise,
I don't care what you knew. You would say it's not right for Miss Raines, who you were dating, to pay for your 13-year-old child support. That wouldn't be fair, right? I mean, it's...
No.
No. So you have to pay $760, because she paid it, right? She paid it.
Yes.
She paid it. Now, what else do you think he owes you for?
Your Honor, after he got out of jail, we went on a trip.
I don't care about your trip with him. Did you sleep with him on the trip?
I did.
I don't care. But what's next?
Okay, he also owes me for expenses while he was in jail.
I don't care about that either. What's next?
Rent. He lived.
I don't care about rent either.
Okay, Your Honor. Well, these are things he owed me.
No, he doesn't. He owes you $760 for child support. That's what he owes you. It's over.
You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
He said that he was wrongly arrested because the case was thrown out and it wasn't connecting the courts or whatever.
Well, at the time I was wrongly arrested, and she knew that. I guess she wanted to, help me out.
I felt bad for him, and he asked if I would post his bail and he would give the money back to me.
I didn't give her a set time or what time I can get her money back, so I guess she felt like
avoiding payment and telling me that he's going to, but not producing the money.
The relationship was over with. She wanted to rush me to get her money back.
It affected it greatly.
Just a lot of her, nagging and, just...
In a way that we're not together anymore.
A lot of things wouldn't just, we just didn't mesh right.
Just know the background of,